It is showtime. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Aaron O Show. Uh, let's just start off right off the back. I wasn't planning on doing the show today, so if you guys get an alert late, it's cool. Don't even worry about it. Was not This is not a planned show. This is a last minute show. Because I had some ideas on my mind about what I wanted to talk about, and I said, why not? Why not have the conversation? But of course, let me give a big shout out to the sponsor of the last show, none other than the Toxic Bob. Okay, Toxic Bob. All right, that's what I've coined him. For the last 5 shows, he has been doing nothing but toxicity. Every single show, bringing back the person that we all wanted to go. All right, we all wanted he bring him right back just to cause more disruption. Okay, Bob, we appreciate the support, but you are Mr. Toxic. Okay, but shout out to Bob for always supporting the content, supporting the show. But you are Mr. Toxic. Okay, if you make it to the 6th show and keep doing this toxic stuff, this is going to be a problem. MS Best says is last minute cheaper. No, uh, no, last minute is not cheaper. It's just less thought out. I would say less thought out. Um, on my show is let's just say this. So, Angry Man is somebody that I studied a lot before I started. Well, not when I started my second channel more. My first channel, I was just, if you go back and watch it, I was all over the place. I was just trying to figure it out. Da, da, da. Once I started my second channel, I started studying Angry Man. I started studying a few people, but Angry Man specifically. And he kind of talked about how his progression on running streams, and a lot of it is he hit play and he run the show. And so if you go back to my content in the very beginning of the page, right, a lot of it is way more structured. So my opening monologues was what everybody looked forward to, which put a lot of pressure on me, but it was limiting the back end of the content and the middle end of the content because I put so much effort on the front end and the monologues, which I think were amazing. And I had to learn how to freestyle the show and move with the flow a little bit better. So I removed that restraint, and so everything I do is 100% freelance. Hit the play, go, and wherever we go from there, that's how it works, right? So it's not necessarily cheaper to do a last minute show. When the reason I tell you that it's a last minute show is because a lot of people not going to be here, right? Nobody knows that I was going to do a show, so it's going to be the few people that's rocking out with us. So, and that's it. That's the only reason I said that. It's not a big deal. But shout out to Bob, the toxic sponsor of the last show. You toxic sponsor, you toxic sponsor. Okay. But we love Bob. Okay. Good guy, always causing trouble. We need people like him in this space to keep things, on the uppity up, right? Let me give a shout out to my guy. Gang. Give my shout out to my guy, GBG Grizz. What up? What up? He says, you know where I like to be. I'm going to start off small, though, because I'm competitive. Who going to take my sponsor spot? Nobody ain't taking your spot, bro. I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the show, bro. The gang is in the building early. Always one of the first ones holding me down. It's very much appreciated. As I try to work through this content and putting these shows together and trying to have a lot of fun, right? So that's all the goal is. What's up, Angry Snowman? What up, bro? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Nightish the Bear. And do we have a Nightish troll now? Oh man. Nightish, you official now. If you have a Nightish troll, you are official. Duralone, what up? I see you. But yeah, that's crazy. If that is a Nightish troll, that is wild crazy. Nightish, you official. If you get a troll, everybody that get a troll, you official. Fantasy Island girl got the Fantasy Island boot. Like everybody got trolls. Trigger Mike got the caffeinated Trigger Mike, right? So I don't know. I don't know. Do I have a troll? I do got a troll. I do have a troll. That's crazy. I actually do have a troll. You're right. Haven't seen them lately. And make sure you block all trolls. We don't need no trolls around here. But yeah, you are absolutely right. I do have a troll. That's crazy. I don't be running into him that much though. These trolls know that they know to sit back. They know to sit back and don't cause no trouble. They know. America is supposed to be common law except for business, not Roman administrative law. Mark, why is you saying that? What man? Look, I gotta stop reading some of this stuff. That don't make no sense. You have a chat troll, Kazi. I do. It says something something the Arrow No show. I swear. I look. I'm not kidding, Kazi. I'm telling you. You'll see it because you know that's not me. I have a troll, which is crazy, but I definitely have a troll. Yeah. See, Grizz know what I'm talking about. Something with water or something. Yeah, definitely got a troll. What I know what y'all wondering because somebody said, "What is the show gonna be about today?" Uh, I really wanted to do. I really don't want to say what I wanted to do because if I do, we know people gonna try to take the idea and do it. But I'm gonna just sit. I'm gonna sit back on that because that's more of a chill show that I'm gonna put together for longer form content, just like a breakdown. But I'm not. I was planning to do that maybe Wednesday, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a show on Wednesday because so that's why I'm definitely trying to get one in on Monday. I love doing shows on Mondays and Wednesdays during the week because my weekends are insane. So those of you that was with me this Sunday, I dealt with a lot of nonsense. I had just left. What up, Dragonfly? Robert Platinum, what up? I had just left. Uh, is it the optometrist, the eye doctor? Call it whatever you want, right? I had just left there Sunday, had to get some steroids for my eye, right? And I get to the Sunday stream, which is normally my favorite stream. Everybody knows I love my Sunday stream. I run the whole show, continuous throughout. What up, Thanos? What up? And so I see BOB already up in here. It's gonna be trouble. But I had some crazy characters on the Sunday show, and I'm not gonna lie. This last weekend has put a drain on me. I normally muster up all the energy to force myself through shows, grinding, and I don't necessarily ever really make it a big deal. But I was beat up this weekend. No lie, beat up. So I had to grind it out because we don't complain over here. Bag chasers don't complain. The GBG gang don't complain. We just do the work, right? It is what it is, right? Nino, what up? So we had some guys on there talking about bills ain't real and money ain't real and the United States is in Washington D.C. We not real citizens. We had some craziness going on, and I wasn't dealing with it. I was not. I was not in the mood. I was debunking all that, and these people just be on some wild stuff, right? Then that's the great thing about long form content. If you push through, you get new people that pull up and try to enjoy the show. Mr. Youngblood said, I gotta watch. Don't watch the replay, Youngblood. Do not watch the replay. Don't do it. Do not watch it. It was dreadful. It was dreadful because I didn't recognize them at first, so they wasn't about to get up because I was like, what I do is, let me tell y'all what I do. I check the background of people that's trying to get on the show, right? The background is the most important part of trying to identify trolls before they get on the stream. So if you got a wild type crazy background, that's the first sign that throws. There's other things I use, but it's the background is the initial way I vet people, right? So I'm looking at people's background. I'm like, you're not about to come on the show. Who is you? And then all of a sudden, Anton like, yo, that's my guy. Yeah, he good. I'm like, you hanging out with old bull? You hanging out with him? So me and Anton gonna have to have a conversation because I don't know who he be hanging out with in these YouTubes, where he finds some of these conspiracy theories at. I don't know. But I don't have a problem with it. I just think that the Fight Club content does not suit that well, in my humble opinion. So I'm gonna introduce them probably to like Uncle Tom or something like that. That fits Uncle Tom way more, right? So that's the thing. But I think that fits Uncle Tom way more. So we might could introduce him to Uncle Tom to get on that conspiracy stuff because we not with it over here. We not with that conspiracy stuff over here, right? So yeah, I'm gonna just be honest with you. That is a no-go. That is a no-go. Shout out to Miss Doris. She says, you already know. Thank you so much. We appreciate you over here. GNGBG is in the building. But yeah, it was crazy, right? That show was crazy. And so I had to get up out of there. What up, Corey? I had to get up out of there. All right. I had to get up out of there. Okay. So that show, it extended. I'm not gonna lie. I normally cut that show a little bit short, right? So I extended that show just a tad bit because Angry Man had came up, Raw B had came up, and Uncle Jeff was cooking, right? So I cut the show short on Sundays because I got work. I'm tired. I'm drained. I got, you know what I'm saying? So, but I extended it, and me and Uncle Jeff got into dialogue about monoliths, right? And somebody in the chat was like, Aaron, you losing. And I'm like, I'm not losing. I know what I'm talking about, but I can't argue with everybody, okay? So y'all go back in the stream, you will see that Uncle Jeff, he tried little boy me, right? Which is cool. He a big dog. You know what I mean? Look, when I told him I was broke, he basically was throwing his money at me. He was like, little boy, who you talking to? I was like, hey, old head, it's cool. I'm a brokey. I don't want no problems. You understand what I'm saying? And so he wanted to make a bet about how destructive. A shout out to Spence. Spence still want that bet. How destructive the I guess the environments will be in about 5 or 6 months, right? He was like $50. And I ain't gonna lie. I do think $50 is a lot of money for somebody like me. But for him, I just thought he was disrespectful because I'm like, that ain't no money to you. You don't care about no $50. I care. So I was playing a little bit of chess. I was like, let's raise the stakes. I didn't say a number. But I just said just raise the stake. And when I told him I was broke, he definitely tried to step on my neck. So it was cool. It was cool. And then after we started having that discussion a little bit, I guess people in the chat was saying some crazy things, messing up my bet. All of a sudden, after we got through it, I said, yeah, so what's up with that bet? Because somebody super chatted and said, yeah, what up with that bet? And he basically was like, nah, I ain't doing nothing more than $50. I'm like, what you scared for now? What you say in the chat? All of a sudden, you scared of a little $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 bet. What you scared for? So he said, no. I said, you want trouble, old man? He said, no. He said, no trouble over here. And got up out of there. So y'all in the chat, stop messing up my bets. All right. Because y'all made me walk away from a bet that could have been extremely lucrative for me because y'all scared him off. When I told him I was broke, which is the truth, he was ready to bet anything. He was like, man, I put my 800 credit score on you. You ain't ready, young blood. And then all of a sudden the chat started going off. I don't know what y'all said to him. And then he didn't want no more problems. So shout out to Uncle Jeff. We appreciate you on the Fight Club. But that was a fun interaction. And I definitely won that back and forth. No matter what y'all thought, it's not a monolith. And shout out to my engineers, my mathematical minds who understand why I was challenging that, right? Lindora, it appears swollen. You okay? My eye, I'm still using steroids for my eye, but it's much better. So if you guys watched the last week and a half, almost 2 weeks, you will see my eye has been I don't know. I don't want to say it was an abrasion, but you will see my eye coloration is clearly off, right? And so I was using, because I was still working, because I'm not taking off of work. I know that. I was using like Clear Eye and some other drops just to get the red out so I wouldn't scare people, make people nervous. But eventually I got, look, y'all know men don't like going to see doctors, right? And so, because it cost me time, cost me money, cost me stopping from going to work and all these other things. So what happened was I finally went to go see the eye doctor. We'll just say that for now, and got my prescription. So my eye is much better. Pain has essentially went away for the most part. So I'm good to go. And either way, it don't matter because I got to work, pain or not, right? So that was a good show. I was definitely having a good time with that. BOB says Uncle Tom's Deport session on Wednesdays. Big facts. Big facts. absolutely. Let me see here. Let me see here. You know what, Bob? If you don't mind, I would love Bob if you could, if you're listening, if you could drop Uncle Tom's link to his channel so people can pull up to his show on Wednesdays. I get invited there all the time, and I rarely have the time to get over there. Sometimes I sneak by just for a little bit. But Uncle Tom, L.A. Wilkes, those are my people. I rock with them. Uh, I love people of different opinions. I love people that think differently. Y'all realize I get in trouble all the time. I was on Fatty's show the other day before I had to dip off to go see my doctor. And shout out to Team Fatty. And we were talking about, the N word, all that stuff. And I think differently. And of course, people got mad because I was like, didn't say what they wanted to hear. I'm never going to say what you want to hear to make you happy. I don't think like that. I've been canceled multiple times. I do not have pink eye. Stop it. I've been canceled multiple times. I'm going to be me. I'm going to be me. It is what it is. There's consequences with being me. I have to just deal with it. Okay. Isn't Wednesday's conspiracy brother night? No, Callie Bev. Uncle Tom does conspiracies on the way. I don't know. I think he does it on Wednesdays, but that's what we're going to send those guys from the Sunday Night Fight Club over there. Because the stuff that they was on, we wasn't with that. Let's just be honest. We wasn't with that. But yeah, so that's what sparked it. But a lot of the conversations that I had kind of moved me to this conversation that I want to ultimately have, because I think a lot of parents laughing out like Aaron said, I don't think like that. No, Brittany, my eye don't do that kind of stuff. But a lot of parents like to go back and forth about these conversations. So, but what I want to do to start this show off is I want to start this show off with a positive interaction, right? So we'll play this video clip. It's a positive thing, and I think it's interesting. And I want you to see this man in a really good light because I think it's really interesting. And shout out to Granville. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's gang. So make sure y'all wish Granville a happy B-Day. They pulled up on the Fight Club and sung him happy B-Day. My vocals was not as loud as the ladies. I was trying. But you ain't about to embarrass me having me sing my heart out, okay? Not about to do it. But shout out to Granville. GBG is in the building, okay? But I'm going to play this. Let me see here what I got. Yeah, I want to play that because I actually think it's a really interesting clip. I'm going to start this clip off something really interesting that I find interesting, something that you guys wouldn't recognize if this type of person was just to walk past you. It's really interesting. I want you to listen to what he says, and then we'll get into the show, okay? Aaron, did you get Punnett Square example to show on genetics tonight? No, Callie Bev, because I don't like Punnett Square. You know why? Because I ain't go to college. But Callie Bev, if you want to use your college degree and embarrass me, go ahead and bring those dang Punnett Squares and we put the dang thing up and you can make your classes in session Callie Bev style, okay? No problem with that at all. I have absolutely no issue with that. You're not going to embarrass me, though. I like to present my positions different ways. So you trying to get overly scientific with people who don't really care about science that much. Can we just be honest? Most people ain't really tripping off of science like that. You know what I'm saying, Kylie? Kylie, you know what I'm talking about. They ain't worried about no science. Let's just be honest. And Fatty got to send me in the book Dizzle. He got to send me that every time he got to send that to me. Otherwise, I'm gonna take it personal. And he doesn't want no trouble. Okay, you know that he don't want no trouble, so he gonna have to send that to me. All right. Now, let us get into the show. Happy Monday to everybody. I hope all is well. I don't know where the show gonna go because, like I said, we freestyle everything. We grind everything. So it is what it is. But I do think this first clip is really interesting, and is actually how I would love to start this show off. So I want you guys to take a listen to this guy. He is really intriguing. Let me switch this over here and adjust this. There we go. There we go. I want you guys to listen to this interaction. Let me turn my mic up slightly. There we go.
What has been the most amount of money that you ever made in a single year?
In a single year, it's a lot. Someone can say, hey, I have a net worth of $1 billion, but at the end of the day, you don't have a billion liquid. So, I mean, it's more of what do you have as far as your portfolio. So portfolio range, about 420.
What's that?
420 million.
What industry did you ultimately pursue a career in?
I started off in oil and gas as a project manager. From being a project manager, starting off as an angel investor, and then from an angel investor, I had a few successful exits, or quite a few. And then I started my own private equity firm.
What was the biggest risk that you ever took throughout your career?
Snapchat. Snapchat was.
How so?
They were raising their seed round in 2010, and I ended up investing pretty much everything as a project manager. Just my salary, 80 grand at that time. That was a lot. That was a big risk, but I mean, it paid off.
How much did you ultimately make off Snapchat?
So I was a board member of Snap. I actually retired about 3 years ago. So I mean, from just Snap and all the other companies in my portfolio, probably about 72.
What is the biggest thing in your opinion that takes a business from 7 to 8 and eventually 9 figures? How can someone really scale and grow their business in today's world?
Marketing. You ask any investor, they're going to tell you marketing. I can sell shit, literally, and people will buy it. Mind you, it might not be everyone that'll buy it, but if I market it right, there will be hundreds of millions of people that actually invest into that. Doesn't matter what it is that you're selling, what it is that you're presenting, same thing with your channel. If you can market it right, then people are going to come. That's literally all it is.
What has
I personally love to see that imagery of that man, so calm in his demeanor, speaking so simply. That was a brilliant interaction right there. For me, from what I heard, that man is really, really intelligent. And he been grinding. He could let $1 million fall off the back of the truck. I could pick it up, and he will still be all right. So shout out to that brother. He getting to it. He even listen, man. Snapchat. A lot of y'all don't know. Evan Spiegel, when he brought Snapchats to his IPO, he was one of the youngest billionaires ever recorded. I want to say he was like 22, 23. Really, really smart guy. Somebody that Mark Zuckerberg just duplicated his whole process and said, we're going to bring that over here. So y'all remember when Snapchat had their little thing, and then based Meta now, which was Facebook, said, we just going to copy whatever you're doing. Very similar to what they're doing with, what is it called? Threads. I think it's called Threads, right? So yeah, I think it's called Threads. So quickly, this is what I'm going to do quickly. This is definitely not planned at all in the show. Let me see here. So let me give y'all a little bit of insight real quick, right? Let me show y'all something. Now, I know this is not the show to do money talk, okay? I know y'all want it, but I haven't put it all together yet, so don't bother me, don't harass me about it, but it's in the works, okay? I know those conversations is what y'all want. I'm working on putting it together, right? But real briefly, because he brought up Snapchat, I want to show y'all something. And these are going to be part of how we have conversations when we do get to this money talk, but it's only going to be for some of us because most people don't really, really dig those conversations. I want to show y'all something real quick, just briefly. Don't do that, Grizz. Don't start. Don't start. Do not start. I just want to show you something. I just want to show y'all something that y'all can see here. Now, what you see right there, right? I want you guys to understand this. Do I need to make sure you guys can even see that even better? Yeah. Okay. Even better, right? Let me know if you guys can see that. If not, doesn't matter. I'm going to read it, right? Let me show you what it says. In 2022, Meta's average revenue per user was $39, right? $39. $39 per user. That's how much money Meta is generating per user, right? Now, this is really cool. Let me see here. I can pull it up. Who's gonna come? Okay, I got you. Give me one sec, bro. See, it's much better when I have this put together. Much better, but let me see here. 1 second here. I want that average. Let's just say this in short, right? When you look at how much revenue they bring per user, right? I don't have the chart with me right now, and that's the downside to just doing that on the let me try to see if I can pull it. No, okay, this is interesting. We'll take that. We'll take that briefly, right? So, in short, Instagram annual revenue breakdown by year. Given an estimated 168.8 million users there, Instagram's revenue per user averages at around $300, right? Now, here's the interesting part about that. This is why I want to show you that. If you look at what they're generating, Google says 2.9. Don't worry, but don't overthink about it, Lou, because it's just right. If you look at how much revenue they generate per user, and then you start looking into the ad revenue per user, right? All you have to do is possibly translate that information and project what they can do with threads. So if they can send ads and find out the revenue, right? I don't have the time to research and do it right now, right? How much they can get per user for ad revenue per user, right? And they look at how many users they done on Instagram, and then you look at just how quick they done that with threads, you can project just how much money threads could make with the ad revenue per user by using information based on Instagram, Facebook, etc. And then you can project those. One of the ways you can make projections, right? So that's insane to realize. I think they got like 100 million users in like, I don't know, a week or something like that. So think about it. It's a lot of money that they're going to be generating over at Threads if they execute properly. So, but that's for another show. That's not for this show. I just thought it was really interesting to listen to that guy. And we love to see things like that, okay? We love to see people like that doing their thing. And, hey, he probably can get me a water deal because he know the right people. CC said, what is Threads? Threads is the new is Threads going to be under Meta stock itself, or will it have its own symbol? It's not a standalone company. It's going to be under Meta's. It's going to be Meta's the parent company, and it's going to be under Meta. As far as I know, they're not spinning off that company, so I doubt that's the case. But I will keep you updated because I am a Meta shareholder, so like not doing so bad right now. A win is a win, right? And so you guys got to make sure y'all paying attention to stuff like that. That is the really cool stuff. That's the stuff we're going to be talking about, but only for a small select group of us because I'm not doing it with all you crazy people because I seen what happened when you deal with people who don't really want to be there for that type of content. Now, let us get into the show, okay? But real quickly, Granville says, hey, Aaron, it was a B show. You, Luther, for show. I don't know what that means. You trying to say I'm like Lex Luthor? No, we're not doing that. Nope. No. I am not Lex Luthor at all. At all. I'm not Lex Luthor, okay? That's not the case. It ain't going to happen. Omni, what up?
What's good?
I'm
Sim
chilling.
God, what's happening? Aaron, what's going on?
Life is good, brother. I can't complain. Lou, like not Lex Luthor. I am not Lex Luthor. Yeah, that's Cap. He capping.
Oh, the black one. I see it now, and I can't unsee.
That's crazy.
The one on the animated series. I'm fucking with you.
Hey, yo, Aaron, that's actually real funny, bro. And you muted.
Why you think that's funny?
It's hilarious.
I mean, because you might be like a villain deep down inside. Like, you might be the nigga that kills Superman. I think that's what we saying. Like, you rich, too. I heard you getting a lot of money in these YouTube streets.
Hey, look, y'all better stop telling YouTube that they already taking all the money anyway.
Only super villains have chess pieces in their background.
What you talking about? Raw B got the chess pieces too. She got the little.
She is super villain too. Better. Listen,
Raw B is not no villain.
That didn't necessarily exclude it. Nah,
Raw B is a sweetheart. She is not a villain. I'm not gonna let you mischaracterize her in such ways. No, she is not a villain.
Okay.
So Aaron, let me
That's
ask you
exactly
though,
what a
because this is
villain
good
would say.
information today. Why don't think a lot of people invested into IPO, like a lot of like black people, young black people, is lack of knowledge? Like, what is it?
Well, IPOs are extremely dangerous. Actually, I actually would recommend most people to invest in initial IPOs because
Because the
it's
company
really
might fall apart.
yeah. If you really look at what happened to most of the last IPOs, the stocks skyrocketed and then they plummeted a large amount of them. It's really hard to find that unicorn that's just going to do well from the jump and not really take. So it's better to sit back and watch in most IPOs because you need to see how the management going to run the company as it is a public company. Because when a company is ran privately and we're getting the information, that's cool. They're gonna tell us, how much they made, all that kind of stuff. But once they're run publicly, then they're required to disclose much more information, and we have no idea how people who are emotional will respond to the stock as opposed to how the company is doing. So it takes a little bit of time. So I don't recommend people do kind of crazy stuff like that. But in order, even to get into a seed round, you have to have a good amount of money. That you're not just gonna run into what he was able to do. He obviously had connections and he's well informed. He had the money, and so he was able to do so. Most people are not going to be able to get into seed rounds. They're not going to be angel investors and things like that. But it is something you should study. Study those people who are, and then if you ever get into that position, you're able to capitalize off of it, as opposed to sitting around waiting around. But the goal is to just get started, right?
No, definitely. So what do you think is a safe what is a safe investment for most, let's say, intermediate investors? Like some people just getting their feet wet.
We're not talking about that on this stream, but I will say this: the best investment you can make is in yourself. That's the best investment you can make. The short answer is, if you want to go slow, like I told Cassandra, you start a shirt company and you be the face of it, right? Because it's low overhead initially and doesn't cost too much, and it gets you an idea of what it's like to start to generate money and things like that. And you're investing in yourself and your abilities. You don't look. We'll get into those at another conversation. But for now,
I don't know if you tap in my brother Sir Hale, but his last live stream, he said a successful woman is a man's greatest asset, an educated and successful woman. So I mean, the black man is waking up, Aaron. You might be right. Invest into yourself and the black woman.
Yeah, look, I have no problem with that. I have no issues with a black woman getting credit for the success of a black man as long as they get the credit for the destruction of them.
Exactly.
So if you get a successful black man, you like he needed me. Obama said he wouldn't be nothing without Michelle. Absolutely. But when you say, yo, man, I was with a man, he was a bum, I want to blame you. I want to say you're the reason that he was a bum. Because if you want to be the reason that he was successful, you have to take the other end as well. But that's gonna get angry. People not gonna like the truth with that.
Yeah, I can't comprehend that reasoning, but I hear you.
It's called leadership. Everybody wants the upside of being a boss, but they don't want the consequences, the pitfalls, the downside, the losses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's leadership. If you want to be the woman king, then sometimes you're going to have to fall on the sword. That's just what it is.
So what made you want to talk about genetics tonight and family ties?
Because we had a conversation about genetics on Fight Club, and so I wanted to make it a more broader conversation and make it a more of a show as opposed to just a segment in the bigger conversation. And then, of course, some things come across your window. You go, whoa. See, I just make up the titles. I might change at the end of the show. I don't. I like people to ride with me on the ride and not know where we're going. So y'all don't know where the destination is. So, but we'll get into the very first video we're gonna review because I think it is insane but interesting, right? And this happened probably a few years back, but conceptually, man, this is something I think that is really, really interesting. So let me pull it up for us right here. Oh, I need to do this. My bad. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Make sure the sound is up. Got it. All right. This here is video footage of.
New at 6 tonight, a Coweta County father tells deputies he confronted his son about having a gun in his pocket. And he says rather than turn it over, his son opens fire on him.
He has more on the story now from Coweta County. Deputies say the surveillance video starts with Mario Clark leaving his father's house.
I just want to say that is crazy. That is crazy from the jump.
What in the Boondocks?
So he opened fire on that nigga, Aaron?
So essentially, the father says something as like, yo, give me that. Hey, you shouldn't have that. And he opened fire on his own fascia. So,
yeah, he ain't got no respect, bro. That's bad.
I had never seen that before. But I think that's crazy. But you know,
Marvin Gaye.
Like it's so visual though. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, they at their house. This is family.
The father behind him pointing a weapon at his son. The father then flinches, ducks, and runs for cover after a shot is fired in his direction. Deputies say the family shootout started when the 26-year-old Mario Clark arrived at his father's house with a gun in his pocket, a gun his father did not want in his house.
So the dad saw the imprint of the gun, which is an outline of the gun, in the son's clothing, and father did not want any firearms at his residence or the son to be in possession of them, so he was trying to disarm his son.
Deputies say when Clark would not surrender the gun, the father retrieved his own weapon. Deputies say the video continues with Mario Clark running back into frame, sprinting toward his father and firing shots. They say the father returned fire in an obvious fight for his life. The father then called 911.
Our patrol deputies were able to make contact with the male outside of the residence and were able to detain him. He still had the firearm on him at that time.
Deputies say the father acted in self-defense and is not facing charges. Not so for his son. Mario Clark was booked in here to the Coweta County Jail on a charge of aggravated assault. In Coweta County, Doug Evans, Fox 5 News.
So you mean to tell me the police for once backed the parent in the scenario? Interesting. That goes against a lot of narratives.
Thank God that old man alive though, for real though, because I mean, what the fuck was the problem? Like, bro, get your own crib if you want to store your own little arsenal and shit. You feel me, Aaron? What would you do if you tell your son to give up his pistol? This little nigga might not even be legal, bro. If he got a pistol, if he not over 21, it's over.
I mean, we can make some clear assumptions, right? Assumption number one: they have a rocky relationship, right? It's clear to say it's highly probable that they have a rocky relationship, right? But if it's my son, I don't know if I would take it from him. I would expect my son to have one at a certain age, honestly, especially if I'm in. I think that's in Atlanta. We had already visited the bandits in Chicago, right? But now we in Atlanta with it. And I think that's crazy, but it's obviously a relationship is really rocky. But I'm not gonna lie, that's terrifying to know that your own son will send shots at you. That's crazy to me.
Can we say that his son don't respect him? Because if he asked first, he didn't say like they didn't say he demanded. He asked, "Hey man, can you give me this tool? I don't want this in my house." If he refused that marching order, is that like disrespect at that point?
Absolutely. It's disrespect. He doesn't respect his father.
There we go.
But for his father to ask for it, he obviously something's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Something's clearly wrong with that. Their relationship ain't that close. Because I mean, if it's your son and it's Georgia, you can have him. I don't see why he wouldn't let him have it. You know what I'm saying? So obviously he felt uncomfortable for a reason. Maybe he was coming there, he was on something, or maybe he just like, son, you don't even need that because the son a wild boy. So he probably was just taking precaution. But man, he fired. Like you got to understand, because some people ain't never fired. But if you fired before, you got to understand. If you were dead, just think about it. Whoa, what has to go through your mind for you to be like, I really got to send this. I got to send some shots at my son. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're like, that's wild crazy. Like, because your mind has to, obviously in that moment is flight or flight. Like you just get into survival mode. You're not overly thinking, but you know that's your son. Like you ain't lost at that. And his son just said he upped it on him. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. So
I feel you on that. I think it's just a man thing. If I ask anybody that comes into my residence to disarm themselves and they refuse to do it, they're no longer welcome in my residence.
Well, yeah, I feel like it's disrespectful. Like even if I come over your house, I mean, you be like, hey, Daryl, I see you got one on your fucking waist, one on your fucking on my fucking like I keep one on my leg too, right? And if you be like, no, I can't have you have that like around my wife and kids. You can keep it outside, keep it in the garage, but when you in the house, you can't have it. I just gotta respect that.
I think that's wild crazy.
And then in that very moment where he refused, he no longer was seen as, okay, this is my son. No, this is a nigga that I told to disarm himself and he said not to. I mean, he said he wasn't going to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Because if you ask me to disarm myself, I'm assuming that you're not gonna let nothing happen to niggas because we in your crib and shit. Like it's not like it's your house. It's not like you asked me to disarm myself at the store or some shit. Do the fuck I want to do outside your house, but it's your house, your rules.
Let me ask y'all this. This is what I really want to know. Can you forgive your son?
Hell nah. You can hear me?
The moment
that shit over, Aaron. You talking about?
Yeah, the moment that you lifted that thing up to my face, boy, you made a permanent decision.
Hey, but
that
Aaron,
is a permanent decision. Because if a bullet hit Pop and Pop died, can the son then take that back too?
Yeah, you're right. But
you know what I'm saying?
I thought I seen this little clip, and I guess I was wrong. I thought the daddy had pointed the gun at him first, and then that's when little homie had shot at the daddy. I thought that's what happened.
I don't think that's what the clip said, but I mean, Aaron can play it.
But
I think the dad
like
armed himself.
Just when I seen the clip from the news, you know how the news go. Cause I ain't see the news, I just seen like a surveillance before I seen the news what Aaron just showed. You know what I'm saying? But I'm from Texas, bro. I love my pistols, bro. I love my ARs. I love my guns, bro. But see why he was tripping on him, like why he was tripping on his son for having a pistol. But I don't know. If that's his rules, that's his house, bro. So I'm from that era too. So
Gary Grant said that's the reason he don't have kids. Gary Grant, you worried about your own kid doing that? That would be the last thing on my mind. I wouldn't assume or think in my wildest dreams that my kid would up it on me. Like, but listen, I ain't gonna never underestimate nobody though. But I wouldn't assume or want to believe it. But I know it could happen. But so my guy Antonio said he can't forgive him. Can y'all forgive him? Can y'all get past this? I'm interested in knowing y'all thoughts. Can y'all get past it?
Hell, fuck no, man. You talking about somebody take a shot at you and no forgiveness? It's blood after that.
There's no forgiveness. Ain't 50 and John Rule still going back and forth? Like, there's like, Aaron, have you ever been shot at?
I'll say this. There has been like shots fired in close proximity, but they were not necessarily directed.
Right. Yeah, see, that's different.
It's a different feeling.
Say that.
It's a different feeling.
But you talking about getting upped on, nigga, really putting that pistol on you.
What did you own? So, I mean, that's all I'm going to say. But
to know that somebody who intended to end your life is still walking around, you know, I ain't going to say too much.
But let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it's interesting. There are people that have literally had shootouts with each other and then they cool. It happens. It like, I don't know if y'all familiar with this, but it does happen.
Leaving like not in Florida.
I feel like
I ain't shoot nobody. You shoot at me, it's a dub. You ain't my son no more.
Lee, you is up. You hear me? Man, say, come on now.
What?
Ain't let nobody play with you like that, Aaron.
Yo, what we talking about? Cocaine or breaking the innards? Like,
hey, boy, happy birthday, boy.
Yo, happy birthday, bro.
Hey, appreciate that D-Town. Yeah,
Happy
I
birthday,
pretty
nigga.
boy
Happy
Lee.
I'm in the
birthday.
space.
Fatty did say
My
that.
nigga
Yeah.
Granville,
My
32
boy.
now.
Step God himself.
Yes,
Happy birthday,
sir.
my nigga.
Hell yeah.
Aaron. I saw you trying to sing last night, dog.
Hmm?
You
Oh
got a
shit.
voice. You got a voice from heaven, dog. Luther Vandross.
You better
Nah,
stop,
for
Luther
bro.
real.
Vandross.
I ain't playing with you, bro.
Pause. But it's Luther
You
Vandross.
know, you know what's crazy is this is a consequence of his dad keeping him in those type of neighborhoods that turned him into that type of dude who would shoot at his father.
How you
Like
gonna?
that's
But at the
Wait.
Whoa!
same
So
time, though,
what's the
Lee, look,
topic?
Whoa!
You
Wait!
watched the video?
How you gonna just
please
jump
don't
on his
do
dad
that.
like that?
cause yo, like what type of kid shooting at his dad, bro? Like what type of neighborhood is this? Where was that? Missouri or Tennessee? It had to be one of those areas or Ohio or some bullshit. That's so crazy, bro. Yeah, I think it is a consequence. This is why you got to move out of predominantly black neighborhood.
Oh
But
yeah,
how do
around
you
a
know
niggas.
that's
Lee,
like?
You got to
I
move
mean,
As
from the
bad as
niggas.
it sounds,
That's what we
man.
talking about.
God
Moving out of the
damn.
hood.
Yeah, the hood. I would say the
wait.
hood.
I'm not
this
Predominantly
familiar.
ain't got
Hold
nothing to
on.
do
like
with the
poor.
hood.
I'm not familiar
You
with the exact
crazy
area.
if they ain't got nothing to
I'm
do
not.
with the
I'm
Man,
hood.
not
Lee,
I
that
would
was some
never
country
have to
shit.
shoot. I would never have to
Look,
shoot
Lee,
at
that
my.
was
I would
Lee,
never
that
have
was
to
some
shoot at
country
my
shit.
son. I would never
That was
have
some
to shoot
country
him.
shit. They had too much land in the front of the yard. That was some country people. Tell you.
Nah, but yo, the areas like the hoods be in the country in the Midwest and shit. Yeah, you'll have mad land on your shit. Like it
Oh
don't
yeah,
matter.
I'm from the south. So yeah, I was
Shit, New
like,
York be having little. New York can have a little closet that costs $8,000. Like so, it's really about the location. How close are you to the city? The city is where you're gonna pay the most at in any state in America.
for sure.
So you could be a mad far away from the city and you're paying shit, and that'll be the hood.
Yo,
Because let me give you an example. Let me give you a perfect example. Right now, you know what's becoming the hood right now in Florida, which is crazy? Homestead, because they pushed everybody out. All the hood shit that used to happen out here, Overtown, which used to be called Color Town, and Opalock and all those places, they pushed them to Homestead by running up the rent. Now Homestead the hood. Now the areas
Right.
that used to be like big ass front lawns and shit, hood people stay there. And they done broke those houses down into apartments somehow. So
yo,
Yeah, I got
yeah,
you.
bro.
hold
It's
Whoever
on.
that is, that's
it's
why I
happening
stay
in
close
Dallas the
to a
same way.
city, bro. That's the easiest way to stay around the money is to stay
But
close to the
hold
city.
on, Lee. Check this out. Let's read the
But
comments. This is wild, crazy. Hold on. Let me
the
check these
comments.
comments. One says, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. It warms my heart to see fathers and sons spending time together. The next one says,
That's
I
the
couldn't
internet,
even get
bro.
my dad to play airsoft with me when I was growing up. These two sure have a special bond.
That's hilarious. Yeah, the
That's the
comments be
Yo,
internet.
crazy, son. Yeah, the comments be so crazy these days. They be crazy.
It's what
can
we
you
live
look?
in.
Can you imagine looking down at your newborn you are feeding and taking care of in every way,
Exactly.
only to think to yourself, we're going to have a shootout one day?
Crazy.
Yo, these comments is wild.
It's a yes.
Yo,
In
that's
between shots, you
crazy.
can really see that they have love. Nigga, this ain't an anime. What the fuck?
That is some
So,
hood
so,
ass shit right there, bro.
so in that
Like,
scenario, Lee, you blame the pops.
like for like like for his son to grow up that way to where he got to walk around with a gun. Like I never felt the need to walk around with a gun, and I grew up around people. They never felt the need to have to walk around with a gun either. So I feel like he must have him in like a hood adjacent area, and his son probably didn't put him in the right schools. Had him go through public school. His son got
You don't
connected
have
with
your
those
gun
type
though?
of dudes, and it's up. Nah, I don't carry a gun. I don't want to shoot. I don't need to ever shoot nobody. But
For sure.
he it's like yo, you gotta protect your kid. That's what I mean. Like so, in a sense, I'm not saying 100%, but in a way, I know he feel bad. In a way, like damn, I done raised a son who willing to shoot at me. Like that's crazy. That's why you thought it was crazy because you like yo, my son would, and I 100% believe my son would never. If I have a son, he's not going to be in no public school. I'm not having a kid again. That's why I haven't had a kid again since my mistake when I was 16. Right. So you got to really think of this shit.
Oh, let's not say mistake.
Well,
That's just my mistake.
I don't mean it like that. I mean
You talking about the moms, right?
Yeah, you got sound issues. We gonna just hope the sound don't work. But no, but listen. So none of y'all.
I should die.
It's cool, bro. You can just charge it. So Omni, you not letting that go. You can't move past it. You and your
Not
son
at
never
all.
speak again.
Not at all. He's not allowed in my house, and only because he is my son, I'm not going to try to hunt him down for what he did when he gets out. You try to end me.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like
You tried to end me.
Come on, man. That's that.
It wasn't no airsoft guns like they talk about in the comments. It was real bullets flying out that motherfucker you had pointed at my head.
He burned his son out, man.
I'm gonna say this. I can't say I can't never forgive my son. I can't go to the same depths as y'all. But it would be very difficult. I'm gonna say that would be one of the hardest things to accomplish in life is getting past that moment. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all.
Yeah, they're gonna need therapy.
You burning them out?
Nah, I'm definitely not buying them out.
What you talking about? Then you go to forgiveness. Then you gotta go. What you mean?
No,
you gotta burn them out.
because the other listen, like Omni said, when somebody attempts that, you normally don't just let it go. So
you don't let it go.
I'm gonna just let it go. It's the point. You know what I'm saying?
Omni said he gonna hunt them down. That's what he said.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
The thing is, it's like your sons should know better. Your sons should know what come with the consequence of like threatening a man's life. And sometimes, Aaron, like sometimes you just got to make an example out of people. Unfortunately, it is what it is.
No sirree, no sirree, no. Gary, what up?
How's my brothers, man?
Yo, what's up, bro?
What up, G?
How's my brothers? Lee, you're right. It's the father's fault because you should not have a grown man living in your house, whether he's your son or your nephew or anything like that.
I thought he was 16.
Oh,
let me make you know something. Two bulls can't live in one pen. They're gonna fight.
Well, but he shouldn't be a bull. That's what I'm saying. Sorry, go ahead.
Let me address this chatter. He said yesterday Aaron said he would lock up his son if he has the power, and they commit a crime today, and today he's forgiven being shot at. Let me be very clear, since you don't listen well. I said was if it's a principle thing, and I'm the president, and my son does something that I wouldn't allow nobody else to do, he getting locked up. That's what I said.
Give him an example.
These are not the same scenarios. You must listen better, okay? In this scenario, I just stated, I'm not bailing him out. He gonna have to, if he get in trouble, that's on him. But I have to be open to the fact that I might have to forgive my son. There's a difference. So you got to just listen a little bit better. But you getting there. You getting there. Keep on watching my show. I teach you how to listen more, so you ain't got to slow down and catch up. Saying, go ahead, Gary. I'm sorry I cut you off, brother.
Bruh, you're good because you pull a gun on me, you dead to me. Friend, family, or mama, papa. You pull a gun on me, I never want to be in your presence again. Because the next time you're in
presence,
one of us is never coming back.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. That's the problem. You all, Aaron, you're my boy, man. You can't forgive stuff like that. There's one and done stuff. You guys got to know that. That's why a lot of people end up getting killed. You got to pay attention to your surroundings. If your seed is going to look at you and pull a gun and try to kill you.
You're right, bro. That's like the
saying that shit.
For y'all to think that.
Y'all niggas breathing hard.
Let's just take a normal scenario, gentlemen. If a regular individual attempted to murder you and got away with it, tell me you ain't gonna be thinking about his whereabouts. I need my peace. I need my peace.
I'm with Omni on that one, boy.
I need my peace.
Man, you try to kill me, I turn Rambo. I'm hunting you. I'm literally gonna hunt
you because all I'm thinking about is your next attempt. Up until look, I ain't gonna say too.
This one I don't like gunplay, man. This shit is crazy.
I'm with you 100% there, Lee. I'm
Do you
not
think he
around
tried
any
to?
gun.
No time, bro.
That boy doesn't
You
know
can
what he
have
did when
whatever
he
you
pulled out
need,
that
bro. I'm gonna
gun,
give
and
it up
that's the
so
Then you
reason
got
why
to
fast.
think
it's
The
so
he
Robert
easy for
not
him
even
to
probably
gonna
do.
think
he
about
probably
it.
wanted to take the gun, right, Lee? He probably wanted to take the gun from his son because he probably sensed his son the type of nigga that'll up the bitch at him. Like he probably sensed his lack of emotions already, and was like, look, bro, I need you to give me that bitch. You know what I'm saying? At least while
Yeah,
you in the house, it's just me and you, my nigga. What the fuck you
yeah.
looking for?
Basically, you saying, Darrell, if his son was somebody that was in the business of getting in some version of law enforcement, and he brought the gun, it wouldn't have been an issue. He would have like he understand that his son is not the type of respectable type of dude that should have his gun in his house without him feeling some type of way, like feeling like threatened by it, because his son is probably a hood star. That's what it is. His son is a hood star, because he wouldn't have done this if his son was trying to become a police officer or something like that. So again, man, you gotta watch. Just like, yo, that's like, you gotta watch your kids, bro. This shit that's so crazy. Like, and like, this the only story you gonna hear. It's like a one in a million type of situation where you see the son and the dad shooting at each other. Like,
That's
Well, all right.
crazy.
So before we get to the main topic, genetics, right? We got one more video to go through. Now I'm gonna just warn y'all. This might be an uncomfortable conversation, so I have to pre-warn y'all. It's not for everybody. It can make you uncomfortable, so I'm just gonna give you the pre-warning, right? If you think you can handle the conversation, then you continue to watch. But if you don't think you can, listen, y'all know what to do. Because this one right here is gonna be a little different.
I know it's gonna be black people.
Don't do that.
But
don't you dare do the black people. Don't do that. but just listen to the story. Make sure the audio is
Tonight, an Arkansas family is dealing with heartbreak after a mother is seriously injured, her daughter stabbed to death, police say, at the hands of a relative. We do want to warn you tonight, some of the details in this case are disturbing. WRG's Jordan James is live tonight with the family's message. And Jordan, this really is just so heartbreaking.
Yes, Shade, absolutely is. As that mother fights for her life behind me, loved ones are left to process this unexpected tragedy.
July 7th, 2023 is a day that a family will never forget.
I don't even know where to start.
It was a Friday morning in Helena, West Helena, Arkansas, when tragedy struck the Trice family.
People don't get the medication and the help that they need and be in denial. This is what happens.
Police say an argument between Deborah Trice and her son resulted in the 24-year-old reportedly stabbing her along with his own sister. Deborah's brother, Gary, spoke with us by phone about the attack.
She tried to get him off of the daughter, and then he turned around and started stabbing the mom again. And she tried to run, and she slipped and fell in her own blood. And he started stabbing her in the back.
This comes weeks after she had stomach surgery. By the time it was over, Deborah's daughter, Lamisha, was dead at just 22 years old, and her son was placed under arrest, while Deborah was rushed to a Memphis hospital in critical condition.
He woke up there for a minute and asked to see her daughter, and they told her that her daughter was gone, and she still wanted to see her.
Police officials have not formally identified the suspect, but WREG has learned that he's charged with first-degree murder and first-degree battery. Gary says his nephew has battled mental health.
No, I didn't think that he would, because I'm like the brother that moved away, and I was always a strong advocate. When I come around, everybody tried to be different and like wasn't anything going on. But, you never know.
As the days on the calendar go by, this pain will be felt for years to come.
And I can say that Deborah is expected to continue her treatment in Little Rock. A GoFundMe has been set up to assist with medical and funeral expenses. If you'd like to help out, you can find those details over on our website. For now, reporting here live in the medical district, Jordan James, WR.
Jesus.
Goes back to my saying, adult children should not be living at home.
Nah, that's not the case, bro. That's not it, because there's other people that do this and it's no problem. It's just, man, You
Yeah,
know, it's
Little
damn.
nigga a coward, bro. Why would you like stab your own mom and sister? There's
because he's an
nothing.
Damn.
There's
emotional
nothing.
male.
Exactly,
Exactly.
little nigga punk, man. Like at the end of the day,
1,000%.
there's
All
nothing my
right.
moms and my sisters can do to make me have that reaction.
So this is going like I'm warning y'all. This might make you uncomfortable to talk about this. But what was stated, I think, by his uncle or a family member that reported, he said he battled with mental health issues.
Did what mental
And
health? Is he bipolar? Schizophrenic maybe? What were the mental health issues? Because this is what I
What's
don't like
creating?
when we talk
Yeah,
about
go
that.
ahead.
This is what I don't like when we talk about mental health. Mental health nowadays has been put on too much. It's like hot sauce at a cookout. It's been put on too much shit. It's been
Agreed.
put on too much shit. Maybe he's just an emotional ass boy because daddy ain't in the house to discipline his ass.
Like, yo,
That
this
could
is what
also
it
be the
is.
scenario.
No, you're right. You're right. You know what it is, bro. The thing is that we can't be as cynical as we were back in the day, because this uncle don't know nothing. He don't know nothing. His genes corrupted. Okay, this kid done ex-nayed the mom. You feel like, come on, bro. Like, it ain't no mental health issues. It is that it is that like that
Aaron, was
level
any
of
drugs found in his
poverty.
system?
Hell no, it wasn't no drug. Well, shit for the
Well,
benefit,
see,
but
I only asked that, Lee, right? Because when I was at Central Michigan, right, it was this young man who deleted
that's
his
just crazy.
mom and his dad in their
Mhm,
dorm, like in his dorm, bro. Like
mhm.
they was moving him in. He took the gun because his dad was a police officer. You can Google this shit, Aaron. And he blamed them both, literally. The next day, they found out that he had drugs in the system. He was high as hell.
So like what's stated here,
Level of violence.
he suffered from mental health, right? And so this is my question to y'all. It's known, it's a known thing. His family knows he suffered from mental health. So I want to ask you this. The daughter probably got involved trying to help the mom because he's arguing back and forth with the mom. He reacted. Now I want to ask y'all this. Did the mother put her daughter at risk, knowing that this child suffers from mental health?
Need to know more details of the situation, how the day started, all details, like how the whole situation started.
Lee, you mute.
You muted, Lee, because my point is like we don't know if she asked her to come, if they was just chilling together. And he came out of nowhere. Like I had to have a more clear picture of this scenario.
Yo, what up, panel? Let me take this to the ignorance. Nah, but something had to be mentally wrong with that nigga for him to do that to his sibling and his mama. That like the result is mental illness. If that's the result of his actions, something's wrong with
Okay.
that nigga.
Okay, so what if we take that off the table? What else could we use? If we can't use mental illness, what else could we use? What's another word? What's another example that we can try to like go towards, except just going for mental illness? Because
Okay,
mental illness.
okay, they violated him. Hold on, Lee. They violated him and they didn't deserve to live. That's the only other alternative. What else? How else could you describe this? Other than that nigga was crazy.
I mean, yeah, because we all love our moms here. None of us will hurt our moms.
I mean, but our moms, you can't just say our moms and then like automatically compare that to her. We don't know how she treated them. We don't know what type of lifestyle she put them in. And what I've noticed, and I've heard like a couple dudes say this, like going to like these prevention classes with this teacher that I chill with, whatever and shit, and he be doing all this like shit to help people and stuff. So I be going with him. Is like dudes be kind of like crazy about they like one dude was talking about how he fantasized about ex-naying his mom because he believed that his mom is the reason his life is the way it is, and he was set on that shit. And like and he was telling the story, and it sound like he made me believe, like not believe like that's what you should do, but like more like damn. As he explained, like, yo, I grew up in poverty, and then as I got older, I understood, like, damn, I'm so far behind in the game of life. Like, and then it just like he was like, man, I just want to do something to her because I feel like she is the reason it is for not like
He didn't have the
strategically
coping
thinking,
skills.
like strategically thinking out how I'm like my creation, and then my like furthering me into society, giving me the tools I need. I think men come to that conclusion and they kind of lose it. And there was a couple other dudes that kind of agreed with him, like damn. And I was sitting like damn. So
I mean, I get what you're saying. He was raised without coping skills to communicate properly with his environment. That's really what it is, and he projected that shit on his mother as if it was her fault, which it could have been.
That's
And
right.
the mother or the parent should have fucking took into account what are you doing to affect your children when they have to enter the real world.
Or
exactly,
he
like
could have been
imagine.
he could have been abused. We don't know that because
We don't know
most
that.
of us, and because all of us sitting here is black, most of us been abused by our parents, whether we choose to say it or not.
Hell no, I deserved everything I got.
When we
I
got
But
older, we
yeah,
realized that.
a
But
whooping,
it,
a whooping is not abuse, man. Like punishment, holding books and shit. That's not that, man.
Nigga, I got my ass beat with extension cords, and I don't know if I
you
can say that
Yeah,
too,
was
that's
abuse
you too.
because of my actions.
everybody got whoopings, man.
I said
Yeah,
with
but
extension cords, nigga punching my face,
That's
bleep,
not a
all
reason to
that.
stab your sister too. What your sister got
I
to do with
know.
that? She ain't do
well, how
nothing to
about if
you,
the sister was taunting him?
It
man.
don't
That's some
matter,
hoe shit.
dog.
I don't think
That's some
there's
So
hoe shit.
anything that they could have done to make him respond that way. I think it's just that I mean you could definitely, I mean saying mental health, I think the percentage of that being higher would be, I would say yeah, because like to say that we all been like attacked by our parents, and then look, none of us is in jail for this type of wild ass crime, so it's like
In
it,
fact, Lee,
right.
I
All right,
think we
now,
should
so
be
guys,
what?
thanking our
guys,
parents on
guys,
that one.
Let me
But
give
go
you.
ahead.
hold on. I have to redirect here. He suffers from mental illness. It's widely known by the family. The man speaking in the video is part of the family. He said, I didn't think nothing like this was gonna happen, but it's a known thing, right? Mom knows this. She's the mother. He's in the home with the sister. The mother is in charge. She's the leader, right? She's the leader of the home. At least at this point, there's no implication of a father being around. I'm not saying he wasn't, but there's no implication. So we go with the information we have. Do you believe that the mother put her daughter at risk, knowing that this child is unstable because of mental illness?
No, you're definitely
Yes.
right. When you make that angle, you're definitely right. They should have put him in like some kind of hospital where he can like be more to himself and away from the normal family. You know what I mean by normal? The non-mental ill kids and shit.
But that sometimes the mothers coddle us where the young man would have thought his actions were justified. You got to think how people they circuitry of their brains is wired, dog. Like
No, but Aaron making a good point with the context. Like she putting her kids in danger because she knows that he has a history of mental illness, which probably means it might be violent too. Why would you keep your kids around that kind of person willingly? If there's a possibility that this could happen.
I'll make it simple for you, Daryl, for the money.
Nah, we don't know that, so we don't have no information on that. So let me break this down. A mother will allow her child, the boy, way more leeway than she allows the daughter if they are raised with the single mother. We know that. If you was raised by a single mother, you had different privileges than your sister. You can come home later. You can bring girls to the crib. Your sister could be damn near your age or older, and she didn't have those privileges. We are allowed different access than the girls and that we're raised with. And even with our outbursts, that's boys. I don't think the mother.
What's she gonna do about it for real, though?
But that's what I'm saying. The mother couldn't correct the errors that she's seen in him.
She could have sent that little nigga away like they did Voldemort. You know what I'm saying? He was too bad, bro. Send that little nigga away.
No, that might be an option. But then now you got to put your kids. When they send them little niggas away, you know what happens when they go away, right? It's the bullying. That shit don't stop. The trauma ain't gonna stop. It's the bullying. It's the essay from the staff, whatever
Fair
institution they going to. Like,
let's not overly do it. So I want to bring a center back. Let me just read these super chats from Grizz. He says, "Let's keep it a being. Black people don't give a damn about mental health. There's a very low level of proactivity on this front amongst us." I think awareness is starting to increase. I'll say that, but you're right. It's definitely not enough awareness put to this.
I think we should have free therapy. You're right, Aaron. It's more awareness.
Free. I think we should have access to it. Free. I don't know about free. I think it's
yo. Some of us is poor, Aaron. It got to be free in some instances, dog.
I'm poor too, but I respect the fact that if you want professionals to do these jobs, they need to be paid, bro.
All right.
They just
give them like government stipends or some shit. Make the rich niggas pay
want to work
for
for government stipends, fine. Grizz says black parents would beat your black before you get to a therapist, even if the issues are openly communicated. We see it as a weakness or as a complaint. Yeah, it's because most people don't have experience dealing with mental issues. Like, we think you just acting bad. We don't have the information, the understanding. If you grew up a certain way, we grew up at. It's not a high level of understanding. That's why there's an argument between whooping, discipline, slave master stuff. Do you even need to whoop your kid to actually teach them? And so a lot of people go through these things. Shout out to LeGarrette. He is the sponsor of the show. He sent me a cash up. He said, "Keep up the good work. I appreciate you supporting, bro." This is what I want to ask you, though. This is an important question, right? If you're the mother, do you forgive your son? That's the question.
Mom's always gonna forgive baby boy.
Are you forgiving your son?
Oh, if I'm the mom?
We're not mothers,
I'm
though.
not feminine. Yeah. I can't even comprehend a mother's thought process like that. I can't even begin to think.
But I would say, I don't know, because I would say this: the mothers protect their boys differently than they protect their girls.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is a crazy situation, and you're right.
Bro, you took her daughter from her for no reason. There's no forgiveness there. I know what you're talking about. Unless y'all come from one of them super holy families, but in my family, that'd be basically the end of you. You'd be ostracized. Instantly.
You're right. You're right, Daryl. Because I don't see nobody forgiving somebody for that, taking their child away from them.
You a kinslayer. There's nothing worse than that.
Let me say this.
Being a rapist.
Let me say this. Look what y'all talking about. My bad. Y'all might hear my dog banging on the gate. But Pete, the first funeral I went to was exactly this. My first cousin, my uncle, his daddy. I didn't understand it because my cousin I never seen a sign of anger from him unless I was playing with his G.I. Joe collection. I never seen a sign of anger from this man. Everybody that knew him would say he wasn't like that. But somehow he murked my uncle.
Let me tell you some real shit, Pookie. Have to my auntie. This is real life shit. Like, no simp guy shit, right? One of my most dearest aunties, she adopted a young man. I ain't gonna say his name publicly. But one night she come home, she, drive her little Escalade or whatever. She pull up, like 7 shots go off in her shit. Come to find out, little nigga had set her up, bro. I haven't seen that nigga since like the young man she adopted. We consider him to be family. I'm saying he'd be at our family unions with us and all kind of shit, right? Bro, I haven't seen that nigga in like a decade, bro. You know what I'm saying? Some kind of stuff like his son grew up to be a real good member of our family. I look at him like my son. But his father violated us to a point of no return. You know what I'm saying? My auntie, she adopted you, she let you into the family. I'm speaking all like real nigga shit right now on my kid life, right? And you put in so much work to go against us. I mean, at some point, people can't forgive. You have to protect people in a certain type of way, and the only way to protect them is to get rid of the other people. Like, at least put a distance between y'all.
So let me ask y'all: if forgiveness is not in you, can love be in you?
No, we can't forgive. We're choosing not to.
So the instance where that, like I said, this is my first funeral. My first cousin, my father's brother, my uncle. I was too young to like distinguish who was wrong or who was right because it was different accounts going on. And if I still ask, it's still like he was in the right, he was in the right. I love my cousin to death. I love my uncle to death. I never asked him about that situation. And I can say this about my cousin, he only has shown me love. So I can't judge him based off of that situation. It might sound funny to y'all, but in one of my worst situations, he was the only nigga that stood tall for me. So I don't know if I can judge him based off of that situation. So I could forgive and love. I don't know. This should be tricky, dog.
Now, sometimes if you got like a bias towards people, like when Lee killed that little girl and Franklin was still siding with him, he knew that shit was foul, bro. He knew that shit was foul. Had that been a member of his family, he would have gave a nigga up instantly. But because he had that bias, you know, he had him down. That's how I look at the situation you described. But me, there's certain lines you can't cross. My loyalty only knows so many bounds, bro. Because if I lose my stripes fucking with you, I'm gonna put my own family in danger at that point. You know what I mean? Like, you going after your own mom, who else you gonna go after next? You can't be around my family no more.
Yeah,
That's what I'm gonna tell you. I don't give a fuck what you did for me. You could have took a charge from me. I don't give a fuck what you do, bro. If you go after your own mom, you can't come around my people no more. I can't trust you, bro.
I'm about to give you, Daryl, I'm about to give you the trigger warning Aaron just gave everybody. And this just not for that situation with the boy killing his mama or deleting his mama and his sister. We don't know what that mom allowed under that house, in his household. We don't know that. He might have had, a lot of us as men, we ain't telling niggas about abuse. Not to say he was going through that. He could have just been off and his marbles is done. But a lot of men ain't going to express to anybody what kind of trauma, what kind of abuse we go through on our day-to-day lives. And sometimes a nigga might snap. I'm not saying he's right.
But Pookie, I know you from the New York area, so you know about how DMX grew up and shit. You know what I'm saying? Crack blunts, my rest of that shit. His mom created a fucked up environment for him growing up. He still didn't want to hurt her, bro. He still never upped the tool on her. That's a different ideology to aim the barrel down at your mom and squeeze that motherfucker.
Daryl, it depends on how much trauma and what kind of abuse you went through.
The video Aaron played, I think the nigga stabbed her too, bro. He was real person.
Yeah, that's vicious. Nigga, shoot me, nigga. Don't stab me. That's different.
On a different level,
that's savagery.
Yeah, all right, guys.
You're getting away from the point, man.
You don't get to
my bad.
You don't get to elect with somebody, do you? Grid says,
nah, nigga, shoot me.
You can only love somebody, and you can love somebody and not forgive them. There's certain people you have love from afar, or have boundaries for. Some people you can't help or save. Yeah, but see, I'm getting to the forgiveness aspect because I'm thinking about me in this situation, right? And I'm like, man, okay. The first scenario, there's no mental health involved, right? He just wilding, right? The next scenario, there's a mental health aspect. We say we should take it serious. We say it's real. When a real life situation is presented, the first thing we revert to is, I don't care about that mental health. It is what it is. I ain't forgiving nothing. I don't believe with the knowledge that I've received that I could just be like, nah, under his own, he wanted to do that. Then how about taking mental illness serious?
Let me tell you something, Aaron. I'm being genuine. Like, my daughter, mine, is schizophrenic. If she was to harm her and it was to result to her my daughter losing her life, listen, bro, you can only give so many excuses for behavior. You owe me a life after that, one way or another. You know what I mean? Like, there's rules in this shit. It's not different for me or you, Aaron. This shit applies to everybody.
You're one of the biggest supporters of mental health in this space.
And I'm gonna help you. Like, you can't be doing, I'm not about to take you to the hospital after you took somebody's daughter or kid away. It's rules. If you go out and you harm somebody, like somebody that's an adult, you had beef with somebody, fine. But you take an innocent child's life who had no beef with nobody, no nothing. Listen again, Aaron. When you run in different circles, you got to be around them people, and they're not about to be around no kid killers. I'm telling you straight up. I'm not saying it's gonna be bad for you.
I'm not.
No matter where you go, jail, nigga. No matter where you go, it's gonna be bad for you.
I'm not saying you hang out with them. I'm not saying you still allow them in your home. But I mean,
Aaron, I think this would be a good case for you to follow and see what his actual statement was to the police. If he says, yo, I just blacked out, I don't know what the fuck happened. Or he gives them the history, yo, I just bugged out because they have the XYZ to me throughout the duration of my life. So I'm not giving him a pass, but I understand why a nigga could bug out on somebody because and this is the thing we not saying. The people closest to you will hurt you the worst.
And this is the thing too, Aaron. Like, I know it sounds harsh, like me having to take my own kid out, but I got 4 kids, right? If my oldest son start bugging out, shoot his little brother, am I supposed to wait and try to make sure he's straight, or I'm supposed to make sure my last 2 kids remain alive? Because this nigga's bugging. What am I supposed to do in that situation as a father?
I mean, you're creating a unique scenario, right? Like, I understand that you have to react to protect your children. If you have one child that's in a, we don't know, maybe not delusional, whatever the case is, and they're acting out, of course you do what you got to do. But in the act of forgiveness and understanding, I mean, I don't know where we go from here. If we go, I show one scenario, he just wilding. There is no report of mental issues, nothing like that. He just wild, cried crazy at his own pops. I understand. I ain't forgiving nothing, right? Somebody with mental issues, no, and y'all like, nah, I ain't forgiving that either. It's like, man, where's the spec? Like, where is the,
Aaron? Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, and this is where a lot of fathers got it wrong. Why do you think that? I'm assuming I didn't see what you're talking about with the father and the son, but I'm assuming it's the video I watched before. That's when they both was blowing at each other in the front yard, right?
Yep.
Okay, I've seen that a million times. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that?
Hold on there, Pookie. Are you for real?
No, that boy probably.
No, I'm saying you said you've seen it a million times.
I'm assuming I didn't see what Aaron played, dog. You listen to what I'm saying before you start running your mouth.
No. I'm asking a question, brother. When you said they're blaming at each other, and then you said I've seen that a million times. That's why.
I seen the video. The video.
Okay. My bad. Then that's why I'm asking.
No, what I'm saying is, I don't think a son will react off of the father just off of, yo, I'm gonna shoot you, just because you don't want me to have a gun. More so the son. I think the son is more validated because to me, I'm gonna look at it and say, why does the son think he needs to carry a gun, and why doesn't the father understand that? Has the son had to protect himself without that father's protection? This nigga work all the time. He got to go outside and really live. He got to walk to the store. The father like, oh, you getting in trouble. He probably blamed the little nigga for getting in trouble, getting in fights, and he probably was getting bullied. And he's looking up to his father like, yo, I'm asking you for some kind of protection. And then when he becomes a grown man, it becomes, fuck you, nigga. You ain't never protect me in your life, nigga. I kill you too. Or I delete you, my bad. Let's just not look at his son just reacting like I'm gonna just shoot at my pops for no reason.
Let me read the super chat and I'll get Callie Bev in here. Grizz says, and let me shift Callie Bev up since she's on cam. There's tolerance for everything. There are points reflected in the law in which reasonableness shifts. Everything has a limit, even empathy. Okay. I ain't mad at that. Okay, Grizz, you tied for the top sponsor, so I see what you're doing. What do you think, Callie? Forgiving, non-forgiving, different scenario?
I could maybe forgive, but never forget, and we definitely not chums anymore. But I was gonna say to bring some more info to the last case with the son and the daughter and the sister. The son was 24. The son is 24. The daughter 22. The mom 53. Whatchamacallit? From what I've read, because I only was able to find like one article about it. Well, 2 articles basically saying the same thing, except one of them added the mental health piece on there. My question is, at this point, because he was being seen for mental health services, now my question is, if he was prescribed any medication, was he taking it? You know what I mean? Was he off the meds?
That's up in the air. That's up in the air because a lot of them don't like to take it. So,
and I didn't catch it from the video, but from the articles, it was said that the mother and the son were arguing, and the daughter came in and tried to break it up or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
It said in the video as well.
Oh, okay. I just didn't catch that part. That's my fault. But all right, y'all, carry on. That's all I want to say. I'm going back upstairs to go twerk in the comments.
Don't worry. I got more for you on the main topic. Don't worry, Callie. You'll be back.
She just gave me so she just put context. So that nigga was 23. How is he getting into that type of conflict where he gets physical with his mother and his sister? Something's wrong with that nigga. You right, Aaron. He shouldn't have been around. He shouldn't have been in the crib. They should have got him up out of there. And you gotta go, nigga.
Goes back to my point. Adults, children should not be living alone.
Yeah, put him in like a mental health patient's type place. You know what I'm saying? Aaron, like a nice little.
Act like that's easy, man.
I know. Yeah, like they close.
When I have these conversations, I'm genuinely trying to have them. Like I really put myself in the mind.
Oh yeah, definitely not easy.
Like you think it's easy to put your child away from you? Like
no.
Put them somewhere else? Like that's not an easy task.
Are you talking about emotionally or like that's like
emotionally? Like you talking about?
Oh no, get that nigga out of there. I thought you was talking about
That's what I said, Dow. He got to get up out of here. You a danger to the rest of my.
It might not, unless it's not enough space that like at the place. Get that nigga out of here, man. Stop playing.
You know, one of the most offensive things you can tell a woman is that you're a bad mom. It's one of the most offensive things you can tell them. Like you
and
bad
the fact
mom.
that we not, the fact
you
that
said
we
that to your mother before, Aaron.
it is the reason
you told
why
your mother that
these
before.
Situations.
Nah, my mom is cool. I'm an easy look. I'm an easy person to raise and get along with. My mom said I was easy. That's what she said. I don't know. I don't remember. But I've always been calm. I've never been high-tempered type of person. So I'm an easygoing individual. So I don't think I brought complication for that. But I'm definitely hard-headed because I don't just accept anything someone says. And I'm not like hard-headed, but I'm extremely critical. You say something to me, I'm going to say why. I don't just accept things. So that part is annoying for parents, right? In general, like stop questioning everything. I question everything.
You know what you just described to me, Aaron? A psycho.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Now I'm fucking with you.
It's all good. I just think that emotionally, it's hard. It's hard to, man, say my kid don't get to be in home, especially if, and we don't know if this is the first time he's actually been violent to this level. I just don't know. Clue Channel says, get the simp god out of here. Look, you got to let him simp, okay? That's what he do. But this is actually a tough scenario for me, like just to genuinely put myself in that mind, that space, that mother, that bond that you have when you probably are doing this on your own. I don't see you putting your, and most people don't even think that they can do it. They're like, okay, give you your meds. I take care of you. I'm your mom. I had you. Look, you got to think about it like this. Do you believe that even the mom feel like she's responsible for his mental illness?
Like, I would have to say so.
It's a possibility she might feel like she's responsible. I'm not saying she is. I'm not attaching blame. I'm saying it's a possibility that people feel responsible for their children and their outcomes. Even if the doctor said it ain't your fault, people be feeling like it's their fault. So it's a lot that goes into this. And I don't know how y'all so quick to say I can't forgive. That part is what ponders me. But
because forgiveness is for God, not for people.
Yo, y'all niggas ain't know what real situation you done been in to say I ain't gonna forgive. You don't know what you were doing till you end up in that situation.
I'm not gonna forgive, and I have.
And you also hold on. And you also have to hear all accounts. You also have to.
My situation. I have a brother, my older brother. He stole from me. I haven't spoken to him for 10 years. I'll never speak to him until he dies. Right now, he's in the hospital in a coma. That's where forgiveness goes for me.
That's wicked. Gary, I don't mean to be intrusive because you're my man. But
man, you ask me anything.
Nigga stole $20 from him. You can't speak to him.
Huh?
What did he take?
Yeah, nice. That nigga must take
$25,000.
$25,000?
That's correct.
Liquid?
Cash.
Now, can I ask you this, Gary? Like, you don't have
That's
to
what you
answer.
get for bullying that nigga. That's what you get.
Pookie,
And hold on.
See, Pookie.
Listen. I'm gonna tell you like this: the Aaron O Show is going to be run much more calmly these days. I ain't playing these games with y'all. It's going to be much more calmly these days. Okay, this ain't Fight Club. It's going to be a whole different experience. Gary, I have to ask: did he have addiction problems, or is he just a bad person?
He's just a bad person.
It is what it is. I mean,
It wasn't no drugs or nothing. He came to me and asked me to help him. He's been, like I told you, I got two other brothers. Two of us are fine, and I'm talking better than fine.
Was his life in danger?
Nothing like that.
All right, never mind.
It was
You got
probably
it.
opportunity.
You got it.
He asked me to loan him money. He got a big set of money. I said, "Where's my money?" "You didn't give me nothing, man. Keep it and keep yourself."
Damn.
But Gary, you understand? I can discipline somebody and still love them at the same time, right? That makes sense.
First, let me explain to you, young fellas. Love is a social construct. It's not a real thing.
Thank you. Okay.
He's right. You right. How does he steal 25 G's from you, though, nigga?
Okay. He's my family. He asked me
He's his
to
brother,
loan him.
bro.
Yeah,
I said, you tell me that you need something. I will help you if you're in need. And worse than that, you get a big chunk of money that you can give me back my money, and then you told me you didn't give me nothing. So
Gary, what would you do if you saw him breaking into your safe again, taking another 25K? You shooting that nigga or not?
No, like I say, I'm a little different than most people. Like my brother, to me, he's already dead.
Okay.
Oh, you understand? And I told him the last time I seen him, I said, if you were on fire and I had to pee, I'd turn around to make sure that I didn't get it on.
I don't know if you describing this the right way to us. Did you give him $25 and he didn't pay you back, or he literally stole $25,000 from you, dog?
He borrowed
Something not adding up.
He borrowed $25,000 from me. He got money. He didn't give it back. So you keep that money and keep yourself together. We don't ever need to see each other or speak together. We're done.
Okay, it was cash. I'm going to assume it's cash because I'm trying to figure out how does he steal 25 G's from you? Because you got to make it make.
He's not that bright.
It was a gentleman's agreement between two brothers. Two brothers had an agreement.
Okay.
Hey, bro, I'm down bad right now. Can you get me? Gary
That's not what Gary said.
Gary also said that once his brother came into a bunch of money and he knew about it, the brother acted like that the $25K that he initially borrowed never happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a lot. I will say this because Gary's my guy. He knows that circumstances matter to me, right? Because I don't like to let money come between relationships. So it's people that owe me money that I don't even care for, right? I just let it go, right? It's not something I'm gonna bring up. It's not something that I'm gonna let come between the relationship. I'm willing to lose money, and I think people are worth money because I don't like to create relationships solely based on it. $25,000 is a lot of money, and even for somebody like me who don't have that, will have a cause to pause. But I will say this, based upon situations, at over a certain time period, if I'm doing way better in life, I'm doing so phenomenal, I will be honest with you. I will probably lean closer to being forgiveful, but that does not mean I'm going to allow access to certain areas. I'm going to watch it like drugs. But I don't know. As I get older and I realize just how complex life is, how difficult life truly is, and because there are a lot of people that just get up out of here. Like we don't talk about them. Life is very difficult. I've talked to family members where they said, yo, how do you not use drugs, bro? I have to use drugs every day just to be in this world. This is too much for me. If I didn't have nothing, I wouldn't be able to stay here. And these family members I'm close with. I'm like, man, that's deep. You know what I mean? We didn't grow up in similar environments. We close. I'm like, man, that's how you feel. So it gives me a larger perspective to understand just how difficult life is beyond how I see it, right? Beyond just myself. So I have a level of sensitivity and understanding for people that go through life, and I'm more forgiveful than most people are. But that's a lot of money, and I would be hurt for sure because that's a heavy violation. But over time, you on your deathbed and things like that, I'm not too prideful to say that in the next 20 years I wouldn't have let it go. So I think that far, like with situations like this. So
Aaron, my
I
bro.
really want you to really think
Can I
about
say
it.
this?
My brother, this is not about pride or nothing.
I'm not
Understand.
saying you're prideful. I'm saying like me. I
I
don't.
know.
I'm with
Understand.
Gary on this.
Understand. You see, when somebody breaks their word to you, like I'm old school. I don't care what you do to me. You give me your word, I live by that because that's how I live. If I look at
I'm
you,
with
Aaron, and say I'm going to give you $500, I'm going to give you $500. You never ever have to ask me for it. I just give it to you. If
Peep
you
Gang,
come to me
Gary.
and say I'm in problems, bro, I need this, I'm
Hey,
going to do it for you.
Aaron, can I add something to this conversation?
Yeah, real quick, just let me read the 2 super chats that came in from my people. My guy LeGarrett, who is the top sponsor, tied with Grizz, says money will ruin most families. I agree 100%, and that's why I battle this thought a lot. Just about watching how it goes. This is a very complicated conversation. Grizz says, no, don't super chat over me, LeGarrett. You're gonna make me drop our pain for that title. Don't do it, man.
Yo,
He been gone for a minute. We glad to see him.
Arpain, Arpain, can you give me a second to add to what Gary was saying? Because I know
Yeah.
this is why.
No, Pookie. No. It's our pains, bro. I told you.
I'll be real quick. And, just one of the things from my experience with family and money, I never lend money. I never lend money to family, ever. What I do is, if they need money from me and I have it, I gift it to them. I give it to them. And I have a personal experience with my brother. He needed some money from me. And one of the things I did was I gave him the money because I had it. I said, listen, this is not a loan. I'm giving it to you. So don't have to worry about it. Now, the reason why you never never loan money to family, and it's biblical, they end up resenting you.
Yep.
When, people don't like their debtors. And if you're in debt to a family member or they're in debt to you, even if you're not thinking about the money, they're always thinking that you owe them money. And so they start to resent you and they start to, try to avoid you because they think you're thinking about the money, even if you're not. So I just give them a loan. I just give them a gift. If I don't have it, they can't get it. And then I just leave it at that. So if it's $500, here, it's $500. Don't worry about it. You don't have to pay me back.
CBG in full effect. Tell that little nigga we just dropped the bread. The sniper you waiting outside for that air. Mike ain't see the, and I know they gon' blast.
That's just my theory. And it's worked for me. That's all I'm saying. And that's what I wanted to come up and say. I think it's just something kind of biblical because none of us like the people we owe money to. Nobody does. And so, in family, you could really destroy families because if the person's in trouble and they need money from you, the chances are they're never going to do the correct things to be able to pay back their debtors or you. And so when you see them get money, it's not unusual for them to put you on a low priority list to pay it back. It's not unusual. It happens all the time.
But in Gary's specific situation, it wasn't just that, hey, bro, I know I had to pay them people off first. He could have said that. He opted to say, oh, yeah, that 25 G's that you sent me never happened. It was far more different.
I hear you, but that's all part of the psychosis. That's all part of the psychosis of trying to avoid the fact to pay you back. It's not like a new coin. Somebody will come up with all kinds of reasons why not to give you your money back. They know they owe you money.
I think you're missing the point. My brother came into I'm not talking about a little bit of paper. Okay? Like to give me back my 25 grand wouldn't have been 10% of what he got.
So Shout out to Gary. He said, "Let's run it up, drop them." Then there you go. They going at it crazy. Shout out to my people. But that's kind of crazy to know that he would take that and he get money too. That's wild, crazy. Yeah, those circumstances definitely change everything. I would agree that's a hard circumstance to be in. Yeah, you know, this is not an easy answer because I can be unforgiving as well. It's to me, it's just based upon the situation and scenario. And as you get older, you should mature and adjust a little bit. But man, that's a sad story because man, it's so hard to get family back, people that you've been close with. It sucks.
Hey, Aaron, let me say this. And this is why I wanted to piggyback off of Gary. He talking about 20. This is what I'm trying to understand. 25K. I cut my brother off for 125, nigga. Dollars. $125. Nigga. What are we talking about here? He had yo. So I'm being serious. This is my little brother. He's 10 years younger than me. I had custody of this dude. I took care of him. I raised him. When I moved from my mother's crib, I brought him with me. This is my little bro. He was in the streets. He got locked up and all that bullshit. I done spent like 3 G's on this nigga. He getting out of jail. Actually not jail, prison. I got you hooked up, nigga. You got a whole wardrobe and I threw you bread. Couple of months later, maybe 6, 7, 8 months later, yo.
CBG and full of fit. Tell that little nigga we just dropped the bread. The sniper you waiting outside for that air. My game sit up, and I know they gon' blast.
Tyranny's been doubled down on. I don't know what she done to somebody, but she got double hit for no reason. You in the way of two brothers trying to support and show me love. So I don't know what to tell you, Tyranny. You just collateral damage. Maybe you get but I know, Tyranny. I know.
That's fucked up.
You get two big dogs around here. They don't play.
But listen, I tested my little brother. The 125 was nothing for me to give you. But what I did to him, I said, yo, I gotta pay rent too. I need this back by a certain date. And it was within 7 days. And once I gave him the 125, you know what he did? The nigga ghosted me. The nigga ghosted me, fam. This is my little broski. Yo, nigga, I ain't got no respect for you after that. Nigga, it's over with for you. And he just had a seed. I ain't even talked to him about his little. So this is what I do when my siblings have seeds. I do the little subscription and pay for their diapers for a year. You know, it's some kind of website you can go to and pay for the diapers, nigga, and send the milk and all kind of shit. And I handle all that for my siblings. But you gonna violate me like that over $125?
Yep.
Nah,
nigga.
So
Pookie. Suppose you just gave him $125. Wouldn't all that drama be gone?
Hold on one sec. GBG Grizz says double tap that, and Laguerre says dollar for dollar. Man, shout out to
I love those. I love these,
man. I appreciate the support, man. I really, really do. And Gary Grant, I appreciate you sharing that intimate story, bro.
Gang.
That's actually a real deep story because I got 4 brothers, and that would hurt my heart,
bro. You guys really don't understand. I paid for this boy's kids to go to college. Understand? You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it was those words. You never gave me nothing. Cool. We done.
And
you know what I mean?
So Gary, why you just didn't beat him up?
Brother, I'm a grown man.
I'm gonna punch my brother in his face. I see him until I get that 125 back, dog. I don't know what you talking about.
I had a fight. I was 16 years old and I'm 57.
Nigga, I'm 39. Nigga, we gonna scrap. And I'm 39. He 29. Nigga, we gonna scrap. Nigga, fuck that. And he just came home. Nigga, I don't care about none of that. Nigga, I'm punching you in your face. I need the satisfaction right now.
No, man, I stopped doing that stuff since I left high school. My freedom is more important to me than anything.
One second. Let me just run through the super chats real quick. Grizz said, I need that sponsor spot, Tyranny. First victim. Laguerre said, negative. It's not yours to have. Grizz said, I'll be taking that. I will be taking that top spot. Stop playing with me. He said, of course, he said, double tap that. Laguerre said, dollar for dollar then. And then my guy Laguerre said, I shoot them things. Oh, man, y'all is crazy. And, of course, the GBG gang is in the building. Gang. I need the sponsor spot. GBG gang triple down. I know, Grandpa, you can't. GBG
in full effect. Tell that little nigga we just dropped the bread. The sniper you waiting outside for that air. My gang sit up, and I know they gon' blast.
Y'all gotta chill, okay? Granville gotta chill, okay? Shout out to the Black Alpha Male. I salute to Louis. Says, add me to the team. Add me to the team. We appreciate you. Thank you for holding me down. Grizz said, you don't love this type of content more than me, dog. Gang is in this. Real, recognized real, though it's all love. Shout out to the gang. It's all love. Definitely. Gang. And my guy Laguerre said, let's get it then. Let's get it. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. These guys are going to drive me crazy tonight. Of course, said, let's get it through the dice in there. Roll the dice with the laughing emoji. And Grizz said, okay, we out here. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me.
Gang. What the fuck are they doing?
Happy birthday. GBG in full effect. Tell that little nigga we just dropped the bread. The sniper you waiting outside for that air. My gang sit up, and I know they gon' blast.
These niggas is rich.
Nah, they're just having fun.
But Gary Grant, I do really want you to think about that though, because you give me a lot to think about. Because you the OG, I respect you. I love to hear your insight. That's hard to hear, man. Because I got 4 brothers, and if I had to break a relationship, it would hurt.
Oh, I still got one more brother. Oh my God, they're having fun.
He said, stop playing, roll the dice then. Jesus freaking Christ, man. These are my people, man. I appreciate y'all. I don't want to roll no dice, though. I'm terrified because I was never good at dice. Ever. Grizz said, roll the dice then.
Gang. What the fuck? Yo, y'all gotta roll. Yo, Aaron, spend their money, dog.
Listen,
fuck
man,
it.
All I can say is the gang is in
GBG in full effect. Tell that little nigga we just dropped the bread. The sniper you waiting outside for that air. My gang sit up, and I know they gon' blast.
And shout out to Cheeky the General for putting that together. But yeah, Gary, you give me a lot to think about. I try to be a real deep thinker and think a lot, and hearing that type of insight scares me. First of all, get 25,000 from me. I'm cutting your fingers off. But oh man, that's crazy.
I told you was a psycho. See, them quiet niggas, you was psycho. You was a psycho.
I'd like to tell you one thing though, Aaron. Family's not always blood.
No, I get it.
Hey yo, Gary.
Yes, sir.
With all your brothers, where do you fall in line age wise?
I'm the youngest.
And so you helping your older brothers out?
My middle brother. Oh no, my oldest brother. He's way better than us.
but are you close to the one you loaned the 25K to?
Yep, I was close to both. Now I'm only close to one. The other one's dead to me.
Out of 5 of y'all, and you only close
there was
to
only
one?
3 of us.
Okay.
All right.
Damn. So what did your other brother say? Did he try to correct? Did he try to correct the one who did something foul?
My middle brother got him for 10.
Oh shit! He violating everybody. He violated. Fuck him. He gotta go. You gotta dig, Gary. You gotta dig the hole, dog, before anything happens. Remember
man,
that.
Don't kill for money.
You gotta dig that hole.
No, man. You give yourself
dig the hole.
Circle. No, man.
Listen. I got a hole. I dug a hole 8 months ago in an undisclosed location just for any purpose, dog. I don't know what I'm gonna use it for, but it's there.
That's so funny shit.
Hey, that's
really
some
try
fucked
to
up
help
shit.
family. I mean, and See, my older brother was smarter than me. He only, like I told you, he only got him for 10. Got me for a little more.
Damn.
You know, both of us are still good, and now he in a coma. Maybe there's a thing,
well,
real
that
thing
part's
called
bad
karma.
though, man.
So
That's sad.
so you saying he's in a coma? Cool. You cannot care about his state of health right now. But if he passes away, would you go to his funeral to show respect?
Nope. I told he already dead to me. Why am I gonna go see?
All right. I mean, I get it. I get it. He violated you in the worst
Oh,
way. I get it.
you know what I mean? Like you don't know how good I was to this man, like for many, 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 many years. You know what I'm saying? And then he finally came into something, and I was nothing. So keep it. Do what you do.
Did you and your older brother see that coming though?
No, because we family. You help your family. But we, and you know what I mean? He did the same thing to my older brother, but like I said, he only got him for 10.
So my theory about not loaning money to family, but just giving them what you can, that doesn't mean anything. Would that have helped the situation?
Brother, I've been doing that for like 15 years.
Right. So
You know what I mean?
But
Until
25
one time,
years is a lot though to
you know what
just
I mean?
give somebody.
Oh, till one time I said to him, I got in a massive car accident, ruined my back, that forced my retirement and everything. And my brother would still come and check me to help him out, even though I wasn't working, but I did well for myself.
All right.
Understand? And to a point, I said, bruh, every time you call me, you got your hand out. Every time. Like, he never came to my house and never left with like a couple of $100 or $500. Never. And I'm
So
talking this
let me
over
ask you
years.
something, Gary.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask you a question?
You can ask me anything.
Yeah, let me put it this way. If he goes, right, are you sure you're never going to have any regrets that you didn't get a chance to say your last words to him while you're still alive?
I tell you very clearly, he's already gone to me.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Yeah. Like a cousin of mine called me and said, you know, your brother's in a coma. And I said, he's still alive? He's dead to me. Come on, your family. I said, y'all know how I am. I will help anybody. But if I'm done with you, like I'm done. I have no feelings towards you. I don't miss you. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't have those kinds of feelings.
All right.
Don't worry, my old lady says I'm weird. I've been with her for 25 years, you know?
Nah, you not weird. He violated, and I can see how you lose any semblance of fucking of a connection with that person. Okay. My dog just barking. Peep this. My brother didn't understand what that 125 meant to me. It didn't mean shit, but I wanted to see what his intent was. And your brother didn't understand what that 25K meant to you. He didn't know what the fuck that was. What you could have did and what you had that for, but you held him down. Fuck him.
No, bro, like that 25K doesn't move me either way. You know what I'm saying? It's not even the money. I told you when somebody looked at me and said, I didn't do nothing for you. You didn't give me nothing. Keep it, because that money is more important to you than me. So I remove me from the whole scenario. You get what I'm saying? It's not the money, because that can't make me or break me. Because I would never put myself in a position that if I give somebody something, that if I never get it back, I'm in a bad position. I don't believe in that.
All right.
Jeez.
Yeah. So Gary, since you got it like that, let me hold $1.
No, don't do that to Gary. you guys, you know what? You may think because the way he speaks that it's just he's just so over it. That stuff hurt, man.
No, it does. I'm just making jokes.
Definitely, because me and this brother here, we were like, you know what I mean? We were close. My older brother is like 10 years. Me and him is 10 years apart. Me and him are 3 years apart. So we grew together.
Word.
You know what I mean? Like, if the closest thing to you shits on you, you're going to keep eating shit?
No.
Right.
Absolutely not. Listen, man, I've pulled food out of my fridge to feed another man's kid. You know what I'm saying? And that nigga stabbed me in the back. So like, yeah.
You understand what I
Known him for
mean?
double digit years. Double digit years. Insane. So I get it. I get it, man.
Sorry to derail your show there, Aaron. I didn't mean to do that.
So listen, I will ask
You are
y'all.
absolutely fine. We about to ship over to the next part of the show. Go ahead, real Pookie.
I wanted to go back to the boy who stabbed his moms and his sister up. Where do y'all think that came from?
Him not being able to control his emotions.
Yeah, we don't have an understanding of that. I mean, it's hard to put yourself somewhere that you wouldn't do yourself. Like I have learned over time is that some things you can't understand, let it go. You know, it's over your head. You don't have the capacity to understand. I'm not somebody that can get rid of 90 people in 2 years and think I'll be okay, right? I don't have the mentality to do that. So I would never understand a serial deleter. My brain doesn't work that way. And so when you think about mental illness and this, that, I wouldn't be able to gauge why that would happen. So it's not even worth me putting my energy there. I just try to look at other aspects of how you go from that moment to adjusting to life after. But that's how I would take it. But anybody else had anything on this before we shift to the next?
Yeah, I do real quick. But you mentioned a key word, energy.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of times when there's energy, there's got to be a way to dissipate it. And different people dissipate energy differently. So for you, it went into a positive direction. For this guy, it went into a negative direction, you know. And again, like you said, you really can't decipher who's going to be who, you know. So, but we do know a couple of things about men who don't have other men to ground them. And if it's just women, you as a man, you grow up strong. You know, you can fight. You can do all the things men can do. But if you're emotionally unstable because you have you kind of have the emotions of the people around you, women mostly, sometimes it manifests itself in dangerous ways. We saw that guy in the shop punching that woman. None of us, I don't think any of us really let a woman get us that mad that we're going to go off on a woman like that. I never seen something like that before. Not like that. He was just completely crazy based on what a woman said to him. That's not a regular guy. So this guy, he's stabbing people because he didn't know how to dissipate that energy he had built up because he never had anything, a frame of reference to say this is not how we handle that. That's my theory. So we're all talking about theories. I don't have to be right. I'm just throwing that out there.
That's quite a possibility, but I think personally, I think because of the era that people are growing up in today, that they care more about their feelings than facts. That's why a lot of these things is going on. Because most people, when they speak now, they don't say I think. They say I feel.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's like people have lost the meaning of what feeling is. Feeling is touch. So whatever is going on in your head is something you're thinking.
Yeah. No. Yeah. People are more in touch with their feelings more than they ever have because maybe it's irrelevant and it's necessary. We don't know. But let's shift over to the second part of the conversation, right? When we talk about genetics, okay. Let us get into it, my people. Let us get into it, okay? Let us get into it, all right?
Story is going to blow your mind in the best way. The average 9-year-old is in the 4th grade, working on the basics of math, reading, writing, social studies, but not David Balagoon from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. No, this 9-year-old is already done with his first semester of college and working on becoming an astrophysicist. So how is he doing this? Well, David joins me live now along with his parents, Henry and Rania, to tell us all about it. So excited to meet you all. Thank you for being here. David, I want to start with you. You're the youngest student to ever graduate from your high school. What was that like, graduating at such a young age and now attending college as a 9-year-old?
So I started
I already finished the semester of college, and when I finally graduated, my mom and me had a back and forth because I'm like, okay, I graduated. You graduated at the age of 9. So
How did you feel walking into that college classroom knowing how much younger you are than the rest of your peers?
I took online classes, so I didn't go into the actual college classroom.
Henry, take me back a little bit. When and how did you and your wife first discover that David was gifted in this way?
When he was little, I mean like 2-3 years old, at the age of 2, he can recognize some signs, some numbers, some words. And then after that, he started to ask questions, even difficult questions. And you cannot scratch things on the surface, and you just have to go deeper and explain it the way he wanted. And once you explain it once, he doesn't want you to go over it again, because even 3 months after, he remembers. And the type of photographic memory he has is so amazing. When he comes with me to my clinic, I have an outpatient psychiatric clinic. He's always asking even everybody in the clinic questions, and always looking for answers. That's when we knew that something is in here.
Rania, was it challenging to figure out what to do and how to ensure David was getting the education he needs?
It required a lot of work, a lot of understanding, a lot of research, a lot of knowing. And as his curiosity and his knowledge becomes deeper, I am starting to hit the limits on some things, and I cannot help him with. I am starting to hit the limits on some things, and I cannot help him with. I am starting to hit the limits on some things, and I cannot help him with.
I'm going to stop it there for a reason. Okay. I go back hold on. Let me make sure I catch up to these super chats before I go off, because they're now getting in trouble, and I don't want to get in trouble. Here we go. This is where we at now. My guy Laguerre said, let's go. Grizz said, I'm going down swinging. My guy G-Ville says, thanks so much, love. Again, happy B-Day to you, G-Ville. For real, for real. Laguerre says, real recognized, real GBG Grizzly. Yeah, those are my people right there. He said, thanks for the B-Day love, everyone. He feeling good. Granville ain't even trolling today. He feeling so good. Grizz says, sheesh, you gonna run me for my pockets like the OG? It's a worthy cause. One more for the pot. Shout out to Grizz. Shout out to GBG. Says, Aaron hit the 3K mark. Congrats, GBG gang. That's a fact. We did hit the 3K mark. I totally that is gang. I do appreciate that. We grinding here. We grinding. And Grizz says those got to be aliens. They look like they stuck in the 1940s. No, they just different. They just different, man. They just different. What I noticed in that video is the father has similar characteristics that the son has, right? So it's like father like son, but clearly you can see the son is at a way advanced level at a younger age than even his father was. Clearly his father is bright and intelligent, but that son on a whole nother level. I make the arguments all the time that genetics are the reason for the level of intelligence that exists, right? I believe parents are just lucky. I genuinely believe it's luck. I think those kids are so intelligent, so smart that they will even bypass horrible parenting. That's my belief on genetics and how when you're a genius, you're a genius. It's just luck. Your parents, it is what it is. They ain't got necessarily nothing to do with it outside genetics, which we know can skip a generation, etc. It's luck. I believe that parents are very lucky to get children that don't have temperament problems, ones that are advancedly intelligent. And as we go down to these geniuses that I want to highlight, I just really believe parenting has minimal effect. Even though I will concede environment does matter, I will also agree that there are children that will overcome those environments. So a lot, but that's the stance that I take strongly, that I believe in genetics over good parenting. That's just my personal belief. And shout out to Azanika. She says, congrats on the 3K. Keep doing your thing. Thank you so much for supporting me. I appreciate it. We're going to keep grinding. We're going to keep grinding. We're going to keep doing content the way we like to do it, differently than the rest. But thank you so much for supporting. But that's my stance on it. I know a lot of other parents want to take the glory for their children, but I believe it's genetics. Our pain to that, you say what?
I agree with you. I mean, I think I live it with my kids. I'm not saying they're genius level, but both of my kids were much better students than I ever was. I remember a couple of things with my oldest. She got a couple of B's on her report card. She was crying to me, right? So instead of babying her, I said, well, maybe you need to study a little harder, this and that. And the report card she showed me was better than any report card I ever had in my life. And I just didn't want to let her off the hook. But, then again, I think on the other side, sometimes you have to understand that if a kid gets a 90, a lot of parents say, well, what did you do to lose 10 points, as opposed to giving them any credit for the 90? So there's a balance. Yeah. But my youngest daughter, she graduated at the top of her class in grammar school, high school, and in the university. And I didn't have nothing to do with it. Matter of fact, I stayed far away. I didn't even give her advice. I didn't want to ruin the way, when some of the things that she was doing, like SAT scores and that stuff, I was never really that good at that. But I never gave her my opinion on those things, so she could just run on her own. She got a full ride to college. She graduated at the top of her class in the STEM field. She's an architect. Mm-hmm. And I don't take no credit for that, other than creating the environment that she could run on.
Thank you for bowing down and bowing to the genetics. I did get some other parents that want to argue the point, but I want to say shout out to LeGarrette. He sent the cash app and said, I can't let him win. He said, Grizz gonna have to stand down. I am gonna be sponsoring this show. So shout out to my guy LeGarrette. Definitely a big supporter. I appreciate you, fam. But I'm a big staunch supporter, advocate that is genetics. And me, I don't just talk. I like to look into what the parents think, what they say, scientists, etc. So I'm gonna play the rest of this video, and then we'll get to the other couple videos that I have queued up as well.
I think a lot of parents can relate to that, but not quite at the same level that you're experiencing. So, David, where's that curiosity leading you now? What do you hope to do next?
Well, there are a few careers that I wanted to look into: astrophysics, chemistry, nuclear chemistry, rocket engineering, robotics engineering, and software development and website development.
Difficult subjects, no doubt, but something tells me you will pull it off just fine. David, Henry, Rania, thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Look, that's what he
Thank you for the black excellence, young man. Thank you. I'm tired of them talking about us black men can't read. Talk to him, youngster.
Word.
Talk to him. Oh, we got Mo. My brother AL is in the building.
What's good?
He is a Faja as well. I have talked to his son. His son might be a genius too. I don't want to put no pressure on AL because he's a phenomenal dad. But genetics, brother, genetics.
Nah, it's genetic. But you got to be able to push your kids.
No, you're not getting the combination. Genetics.
Nope. Because you know what? If it was up to my son, look, my son is smart, right? But,
I know he is.
But like when I turn on, he's like, you watch YouTube Kids. You know what you want to watch? Them little gummy. You want to watch them little gummy bear commercials. You want to watch the commercials. You want to watch them shows where they're running over shit and making noises. Nah, I'm like, no. What we're gonna do? We're gonna put on some Chinese. We're gonna put on Mandarin. You got to listen to everything in Mandarin. And then I'll say he started learning.
Listen, I give you credit. You know, you're my guy, 100%. I understand the support that you have because you're a little bit of a nerd. So there's a level there. But if they don't have the capacity, it don't matter. If they don't have the capacity, it don't matter.
I think it's about happening. I think it's about happening.
Oh, I disagree with you there, sir. Because you have some children that are born, he's what you call a golden child. Very few of those. But nurturing And as the young man just said, you gotta push. If you don't push, guess what? Most kids, and we all were kids. If you
Yeah.
don't have to do something, do you do it?
No.
It's just by human nature. So you're very correct when you say with the genetics, but the genetics without the nurturing ends up being nothing.
When you
Can
say
I
nurture and
live, please?
building,
Oh,
Can
that's
I live?
that's cat. Go ahead. What's up, Tyranny?
Yes,
That's
I
cat.
just want to live. I just want to ask the chat, can I live? Oops, sorry. I'm thinking up here. That's all. Can I just live? Can I just have a conversation? That's all I want. I come up here and
Yo,
pee.
stop begging.
I come in here and
Hey,
pee.
hey, real
That's
Pookie.
all
I
I
told you
want.
this ain't Fight Club. Chill out.
Just want a conversation.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What
And
what I
honestly,
was saying, Mr. Payne,
oh,
like your environment can affect you, but
yeah.
if you have one parent, you don't even need two. One parent
What?
that pushes you to the point that you want to do it. And also, it's something that your child enjoys. That's why you have some kids that are really good in music. And if their parents nurture them, you see them do great things. Some kids are good in mathematics, or like this young man here, he's like good in everything. So it's like I say, a golden child.
He could be the
He's
next
not.
Elon Musk.
Oh, he's not good at everything. He's good at academics. I want to know what his
And
social
then,
life
hold on, real
look like.
Pookie, real
How his
Pookie, real
friends look.
Pookie,
What
real
kind of
Pookie,
friends
stop.
he has.
Hold on, guys. I got another Cash App in. They said Grizzly Total GBG Gang is
Gang.
top spot to sponsor the show.
Gang. CBG in full effect. Tell that little nigga we just dropped the bread. The sniper you waiting outside for that ass. Mike ain't see the, and I know they gon' blast.
I really love that song, man. Shout out to
I know,
Yeah,
it's
that song's
cool,
fire.
man.
I ain't gonna lie. That song's fire.
So
Shit,
Gary,
I'm
Gary,
going
before you
Leave me
go
alone.
on,
Let me live, you guys.
Gary, before you go on, I don't disagree with what you said, only except with the word push, because the difference is with for my own anecdotal situation. My daughter's also an accomplished musician. I bought her a guitar when she was 9, and she's 24 now. She never put it down. So a lot of the stuff I didn't have to go after her to practice. I didn't have to do anything. She just did it all on her own. And as far as her schoolwork, I've never seen a person be able to compartmentalize her life at such a young age without any direction as her. I mean, I could learn. I actually kind of learned a few things from her, and from the standpoint that I didn't put anything on her stack, and when I did, I could see her prioritizing when she was going to get it done based on the things that she thought was most important. And so now,
Mr. Payne, Mr.
I
Payne,
thought that was a gift.
let me stop you for 1
No,
second.
hold on.
Hold on. Let me just stop you.
I just thought that
What
was a
you
gift.
had, especially in a daughter, is rare. Trust me.
No, I don't disagree with that.
It is rare, Payne. It is rare. Yo, I said this.
Young girls
I said
usually
this.
can't compartmentalize. It's not really in their nature.
I don't disagree.
Yo,
You know what I
it's-
mean?
yo,
So you know,
you
man,
gotta
like,
push them. You gotta you have to push them. I threw my sons in AP and honors classes this year for the first time ever, and
Congratulations, man.
no, a couple they in summer school right now. Ain't no congratulations. They done fucked up on some shit. What are you talking about?
Honors, so, you know what
Peep game.
But the point
Yes,
is, whether
I
you have
threw them
to
in the
push
deep
or they
end,
just
and I
move on
wanted
their
to see
own.
how they was gonna survive. They didn't do bad, but they gotta get pushed more, right? But just as much as I push social skills.
You know what
I
though?
feel
I
that.
think the biggest thing, a lot of parents don't pay attention to their kids at all. That's the biggest thing.
Some parents limit their kids.
Exactly. Some parents limit their kids too. I think a lot of people underestimate their kids. Like instead of saying, like, for example, I was reading when my son was like what, 1 month, 2 months. I was like, I mean, I've been reading to my son every day since he was born. But when I was reading the stuff I was reading, like like people were like, "You're gonna force it," like, because I was reading like quantum mechanics for babies, like little things like that, little books like the books like that was kind of crazy. I was reading papers that from work to him, right? And I'd read Powernomics to my son when when he was a few months old, right? I read all these things to him. They're like, you're gonna force him to be a nerd. Everybody's saying, oh, you're gonna force him to be a nerd. You're gonna be a nerd. I'm like, look, don't underestimate my son. My son can handle it. So I just read to him every day, and people didn't understand that. And now all of a sudden, he's reading at a second grade level at 3 years old, and in multiple languages. Like he's reading in multiple languages.
Can I tell y'all something? When they talk about nerds, most of those nerds are running all these Fortune 500 corporations that you guys are looking at.
Exactly.
And hold on, and exactly. Most of them nerds is the incel niggas in the red pill space. Also, let's not downplay where that nerdiness got these niggas.
Who cares about that?
What do you mean?
Why do you care what a man does? Like, I don't get that with the new generation.
You just cared about if he succeeded, but don't want to care if he failed, though. What are we talking about?
Failed in what? Why don't care what a man if he live in his house by himself and he ain't get no woman? What does that got to do with me?
Half the dudes, 90% of the dudes listening. Listen, we're talking about rarities. I'm talking about, listen to what I just said. As much as I push academics, I push social. I don't want my sons being in the crib studying for 8 hours and they don't have no friends.
Well, you see, I'm going to tell you something.
A lot of these dudes is like that. Y'all shaking your heads. A lot of these dudes are like that.
No, they're not. If they were like that, they wouldn't be running up and down because we don't have enough of these dudes that are like that.
Okay, all right, I'll let you can have that.
You know what I'm saying? We don't have enough dudes that like academics. You understand that? We have too many dudes that like social.
Yeah, so I want you, Gary Gratt. We don't need everybody to be alike. But real quick, let me run through these last two super chats. Grizz says, give him 10 years and see what his girl look like. Stop hating, Grizz. You know he about to have supermodels. He gonna be building a rocket ship. He probably gonna be worried about women, to keep it real with you. Laguerre says, black man ain't broke or bandits in the building. Laguerre says, I'm coming for the top sponsor spot. And he got him by a whole $1. Y'all is petty. He got him by a whole $1. Shout out to Laguerre. Shout out to Grizz. But no, I think that it's all genetics, and you can argue some form of environment. AL, I don't know the level his kid is a genius, what level it is comparison to these other kids. It's not the biggest deal. I know he's extremely active, and he's at this time, he's very integral into his experience. So I don't know enough, but I know AL. So I'm later down the line, years from now, I'm going to be able to see and go, okay, how much was it really just genetics, or how much did he really, really add? And so we don't have the capacity we don't have the ability to compare that just yet. And Grizz said, give me my top spot back. And he said, nah, I meant what color his girl going to look like. Oh, bet. So you mean like from the DR? Where they go and get their intelligence from? I got you.
No, bunny.
Suavemente.
Yeah, but I know what he meant. He's talking about you got to see where they. Man, there you go, causing trouble. There you go, causing trouble. That kid, he's smart. He's so smart though. But don't worry, we got another video to play. Okay. Let me pull it up real quick. 1 second, fam. 1 second.
Why you doing that? It's all good. It's all good. He's so intelligent. It's all good till he can't find a prom date.
You see, that's the problem with the young man. He don't need no prom date. You know what he needs? To get money.
He needs to get money.
No, you need social skills, dog. And a lot of these intelligent dudes don't have they don't know how to be human. They don't know how to be human, dog.
I'm telling you these things.
They become robots, and they don't know how to interact with real people.
Bro, I don't know.
We don't
know enough of these people to say that.
I'm not saying that specifically towards the young man. I'm not saying that. I've seen this a million times. These dudes who be super intelligent do not know how to interact with people on a human level.
That's not
y'all can laugh. Y'all can laugh. Y'all think it's funny, but this shit is real life.
Well, I'll be honest with you there, real Pookie. I've been around a lot of intelligent people, and they know how to move a room just like you, and probably better than you.
Don't they be weirdos?
No, there's some. I'm not gonna say there are not any, but that's just there's dumb weirdos too.
You got more dumb weirdos than smart weirdos.
All right, guys. Look, we're not about to argue whether they can get chicks or if they super charming. We're not doing that right now. I am proud of that young man and his level of intelligence and how he represents himself and how he carries himself. All this extra, you need to charm women, have this charisma. He can talk just fine. He speaks well enough. He knows how to communicate. I know you think it's so important for him to go talk to all the kids across the street because that's what y'all hover behind when your kid ain't as bright. At least my kid got social skills. Your kid can't do what he can do. So that's what you're going to run behind. That's the problem that we have. Everybody don't have to be the same. Let him be this, what y'all want to consider antisocial, which I don't actually see that from him. Y'all so used to charisma and charm that black men have, but when you see this level of intelligence and excellence, y'all still want to throw something at it. Let that man shine. Let that young boy shine. We're not throwing that. We're not doing that today. We're not doing that at all. We're not dimming none of his light at all.
I ain't gonna lie, in the future,
super intelligent. I salute him. I salute him. But
no buts. I'm not playing. I don't know what world.
I know what's the but. You know what I mean? A 9-year-old graduating college, and then you're talking about getting women.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the downfall of you know what I mean, of most of these young black men.
He could cure cancer tomorrow, but if he can't bag a chick, our community wants nothing to do with it.
Hold on, guys.
Wants absolutely nothing to do with it.
Hold on, let me read the super chat and then I'll go to
It's worthless.
because he wanted to add his 2 cents in there. Laguerre says, "Who cares about prom day when that stuff don't matter when he win a Nobel Prize?" Definitely. That's what I'm standing on. Grit says it's not really about women. It's about taking his great genetics and being able to continue to pass them through black people. Watch his girl be a snow bunny. I don't
Whoa, man! Like, oh boy, you can't be that inferior, man. His girl will be whoever his girl is.
Yeah,
whether
I don't
she's,
know.
you know
I
what
don't
I
know
mean?
if it'd be a snow bunny, but you know, it depends. Whatever women are attracted to a guy that's apparently not super social, but is brilliant in so many other areas. So that's up to them. Most guys get all their confidence and accolades from sleeping with a bunch of women, so they don't understand when that stuff is pointless. And some people ain't own that. They really own to changing the world and leaving an impact on things. And so it blows their mind when somebody else is not on chasing girls because they smart. Shout out to JB. He says, "Hood ninjas calling you a weirdo is a badge of honor."
So hold on. Hey, Aaron, before you move on to the next video, let me say this, Aaron. Stop it. Listen, I said I added him being able to communicate with girls, and I also added him being able to have friends. It wasn't just girls. How he communicates with humans. Did I not just say that? Y'all just latched on to the, oh, he's not gonna have a girlfriend. So what? I said how he communicates with people.
So
did you hear a problem with him able to communicate in the video?
No, this is what I'm saying. All right, so
No hate, no 9-year-old. We're not doing it.
That's crazy, man. You can't graduate college at 9.
Listen.
Save
that for the Fight Club. AL, did you want to say something before we move on to the next video?
No, I was just gonna say that, like,
let me say something.
Those scripts are very important. We're not gonna say that because that's not like what you get in life is soft skills are very important for that, right? However, we cannot sit there and say just because they are heavy in the hard skills and learning and being intelligent, they're gonna automatically lack in the soft skills. Come on, Pookie, we gotta be realistic.
That's the normal conversation, and that's why I said it's pointless to make these arguments because a lot of these guys gain their accolades through sleeping with women. That kid, from what I heard, has no problem speaking. He don't have a speech in he don't have that. It's just they're already trying to project because their kids don't have a 4.9, ain't graduated early. Hold on, y'all, I gotta mute you. That they like, man, what about his social skills though? I've been seeing this since I've been growing up. The nerdy kid that ain't as charming, ain't got the swag right from the young age. Oh, but he ain't got the social skills. He might be no. We're not seeing the same nerves that they used to show y'all on TV.
Putting intelligence over social skills.
Yes.
Every day of the week.
Every day of the week.
We moving
and
on.
tomorrow.
I got a viewpoint.
And the next one.
I would say that I would say that
move
Give a damn.
move on.
That's the problem with
I ain't
us,
gonna lie,
though.
man. I ain't
That's
gonna
the
lie.
fucking problem, right? Pookie is highlighting us.
Bro. Go ahead,
I'm gonna respect it. I'm gonna respect
I
it.
ain't gonna lie, a kid like that, man. He's I give it a few years down the road. He gonna really know its worth. And then two, I ain't gonna lie. I see a kid like that in like Silicon Valley somewhere, revolutionizing the world in a powerful way. Especially as young as he is. I just give it a few years, man. I say about around like 18, 19, 20. We gonna see some crazy junk coming from that kid.
Yeah, I think we should measure things like on the lines of impact. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he gonna
Like,
make a huge impact.
What impact are you making? Where are you laying your footprints in life?
Yeah,
in the world.
But that's all I really care about. I'm not. We're not attacking no 9-year-old, bro. I'm not overly critiquing him. The man, like he graduated. I want to do that. Right. I want to
get over it.
We can talk. We can talk about whether or not parenting is going to assist in his genius and not like that. But I'm not doing that right now. Chase excellence and let them crash. Test dummies, chase bullets in football. Shout out to that young man. I'm beyond proud of him and his family. Yeah, that's what we pushing over here. That's what we pushing over here. Laguerre says, "Give me back my top spot. I ain't playing with you." He says, "He 9. That little player will be all right. No doubt, no doubt."
He named 6 different industries
actually has
too.
some charm to him, but a lot of people don't see more. They don't see because they hear what they want to hear and they see what they want to see. It's hard to move past it. But let's move on to the very, very next video because I got a couple videos, you know, and we're gonna play them. We're gonna highlight the black excellence that we have around here. Let's see.
Are you into rocketry? I started with water propulsion, worked my way up to
We're gonna fast forward that part. There we go. Yeah.
The real deal, and we're gonna put him on television. That's Caleb Anderson. He's a kid genius who is not yet a teenager, but is already cruising through college courses and is set to go to a very prestigious university. As Mark Strassman shows us, before he could even walk, Caleb could astound people around him.
That's crazy.
Which smart kids apply every year to Georgia Tech, but no one like Caleb Anderson. He's 12.
I'm not really smart. I just grasp information quickly. So if I learn quicker, then I can get ahead faster.
This elite engineering school fell over itself recruiting him.
Plug it in here.
Caleb saw the labs. He met the school's president.
I have heard so much about you. Welcome to Georgia Tech.
He's a perfect candidate to come into our program and be very successful.
Is his admission guaranteed?
I would expect that he would be admitted for sure.
Admitted to study aerospace engineering. Claire and Kobe Anderson, Caleb's parents.
What's it like to be touring a college when your kid is 12?
I don't think anything that Caleb's done has been normal for us.
By age 1, he was reading.
Caleb. Fun.
At 2, he knew sign language and how to do fractions.
1, 2, 3. I have this distinct memory of going to the first grade class and learning there. Everyone was way taller than me because, you know, I was 2. I could barely walk.
Middle school was awful. It always
Talking
is.
shit, young man.
The kids there, they kind of looked down on me, or they treated me like I was an anomaly, and which I kind of am.
He's taken college courses for a year. His parents now want a university that's the right fit for a tween genius.
We want him to be in an environment where he's accepted and not tolerated.
If he comes to Georgia Tech, he's not rushing fraternity.
No.
No. Not at all. We're definitely protecting him.
Make sure that when he is an adult, that he'll make a great husband or great father, a great friend one day.
Lots of people think they're the smartest person in the room. Caleb really is.
Does it ever occur to you, you know what, I'm looking at college and I'm 12 years old.
This is my life. This is how I am, and I've been living this way my whole life.
He accepts that he's different, definitely smart. For CBS This Morning, Mark Strassman, Atlanta.
That boy doing big things in the city.
I sense no stuttering. I sense well-spoken, charming, actually brilliant, high level of self-awareness. I've known about that kid for what? Man, look at these youngsters. They killing it. killing it. Whole nother level. Genetics, baby. Genetics. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Parenting can have a level of support, but the genetics takes priorities. Okay.
Hold on there, Aaron. Let me ask you a question. What did those two boys have in common?
Both parents. I know that's what you're going to highlight.
Definitely. It makes a big difference.
All right, we get the both. I got you, Gary Grant. We got the both parents. I hear you. That's respectable. That's actually a good thing to highlight. I'm not mad at that. That's my mad.
You know what I'm gonna point out? They had aware parents. They had parents.
They didn't have
great point, young man. Great point.
Because there's a lot of parents who are like, oh yeah, well I don't know that they just do stuff that I don't know about, and I'm just gonna let them, the teacher says this, okay. They're not involved with education at all, and so you don't get to go to college at 12 years old if your parents didn't put you in position to be there.
Word.
That's a really good point. Let me catch up on these super chats real quick. Garrett says some of y'all barely graduated high school at 17 with all the social skills and ain't doing nothing. That's offending. Ain't doing nothing at all. And shout out to Chris. He said, I'm right on your line for that top spot. I want it. He says, oh, he gonna be more than fine. Some white women setting her up. Oh, okay. Some mom, I guess, setting it up her daughter right now to like engineers and physics or physicians. Latina's gonna be on the rebound too. I gotta adjust my screen because I'm looking too far back right now. And shout out to my guy Giorgio. He says that's the first kid they tried that AI chip on. I don't know if you trolling or if they actually did that, because I didn't read about that, but it's a possibility.
Aaron, you're not that gullible, man.
I know. I'm playing. By the way, Grizz said I want that top spot. Grizz said I want that top spot, so he is the top sponsor of the show right now. Grizz, shout out to you. Shout out to the gang, because you won't let nobody gang. But Gary Grant, I'm mad at you. You didn't have to point out that they had both parents. Shameful of you. You ain't had to do that. You ain't had to do that. You ain't had to do that. All right, so I'm gonna play one more video, and then we're gonna get the breakdown of just how strongly y'all feel that y'all parenting really be helping, and just how much of a genius these kids are based upon genetics. So let me pull up that last video right quick. It's gonna take me a quick second because I forgot where I stored it. Where did I store it? Where did I put it? I'm not sure. It might be this one.
We're back.
It might be this one. Let me. Where did I put it? Is that it? Okay. Yeah, I think this is the one. I think this is the one. Pookie, you can come up. Did you want to say something before we get to the next video, Pookie?
Nah. So this is why I'm not trying to violate the little dude, because I would love for one of my sons to be that exceptional. All I'm saying is I hold other things just as high as intelligence. It got to be holistic. It just can't be one thing. And I would say this: listen to what that mother said. I want him to be a good friend, a good husband. She understood that. And yeah, get mad at me. His mother just said the same thing, the second kid, that I was saying. That's it. It's just a holistic. It's just a holistic take on everything.
Assumption he wouldn't be that? You don't have an assumption for nobody else that way.
No, I do have an assumption of that. This is why I have an assumption. Because it is like that, Aaron. Let's just keep it real. A lot of the smart dudes are missing a lot of.
Nope. No,
that's not true. That's not true.
How many smart dudes you know like that? How many smart dudes you know like that? You don't know nobody like that. So what are you talking
about? Guys, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not playing. I told you my show's gonna run the way my show is. Say that for the Fight Club if you want. We're not doing that. These kids are geniuses and they are black boys. I don't play about black boys at all. Won't be no slander over here. I don't play. So no. Especially when you talk about the level of it. They on national TV, man.
I'll be back in a few minutes, fellas.
I can't do this. Let me get to the next video and then we'll get to the breakdown. Because I think this is the last one that I have. I might have another one, but I think this is definitely probably the last one. Let me adjust this. Man, this StreamYard is tripping. All right, there we go. Make sure I got the sound. Here we go.
Back on a Saturday morning with an extraordinary story out of Texas.
A prodigy is going to graduate today with a degree in physics.
NBC's Jacob Rascone shares his story. So we just plug these in here.
Mastering quantum physics is impressive on its own, but what's most remarkable about Carson Hui Yu
as the second derivative of position with respect to time
is that he's only 14 and he's graduating from Texas Christian University today, their youngest graduate ever.
I was 10 graduating high school, so it's really the only thing that I could do. It's not like I could stay at home for 8 years just doing nothing.
His mom, Claretta, says she realized Carson was pretty special when he was just a toddler.
Around age 3, he loved math, and he asked me if he could learn calculus, and I thought,
She homeschooled Carson until he was 5 when she knew he needed more.
So she took me.
She homeschooled Carson until he was 5 when she knew he needed more.
So
she homeschooled Carson until he was 5 when she knew he needed more. She homeschooled Carson until he was 5 when she knew he needed more.
So she took me to a public school, and they said that I was way too advanced. I ended up going to a high school, private high school.
A 5-year-old in 8th grade.
After
there's more of the video. I just want to pause it just for a moment. Shout out to that mom knowing that his genius is too much and I got to get some help because it is a genius we dealing with. And I'm going to get him the support he needs because I know genetically he has surpassed me already. So I gotta do what I gotta do as a mom. And we appreciate her for doing the right thing by this young man. Give me 1 second.
Boy, I gotta talk to her. I'll teach my son.
That's a rarity because you know how many moms would have just kept going on.
Exactly. That's why I said an aware parent. That's why I said an aware parent is very important.
Don't do that. Most of these geniuses, their moms is good people. Most of them.
The ones that we get to know about because they have success stories.
Because like think about how many times their parents who have done their kids grow up. They say, no, you don't need to do that. You need to be more social. You don't need to be.
I get it, AL 100%. But let's highlight the parents that don't do that. So we ain't got to talk about the bad when we rocking with the good right now. Let me play the rest of this video.
But let's highlight how important parents are.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Parents are phenomenally important. We love parents, but I don't care. You can't make a genius just because you're a good parent. And I will argue. Let me play the video, and we'll argue that in a second. I'll play the video.
After that, I didn't skip anything and graduated at 10 years old.
That 10-year-old boy dove right into physics when he got to TCU. It would become his major along with a double minor in math and Chinese. Professor Magnus Ritby became a mentor to Carson.
One of the main principles have always been don't give him preferential treatment. Try to really treat him as any other college kid.
Of course, Carson really isn't your average college kid.
I still play games. I have my little brother, Cannon. I still have friends my age. I have a puppy. I have all of those things that you would normally have, but it's just academically different.
In the fall, Carson will return to TCU for graduate school and eventually his PhD. But this time, he won't be the only member of the family on campus. His brother, Cannon, just 11 years old, will be a freshman. His brother, Cannon, just 11 years old, will be a freshman.
When I come to TCU, I'm going to major in astrophysics and engineering.
Claretta, the proud mom of the 2 youngest TCU students ever, says there is no magic parenting formula, just a love of learning.
I was blessed that God gave me such wonderful.
Just a love of learning.
I was blessed that God gave me such wonderful little boys.
Of learning.
I was blessed that God gave me such wonderful little boys, and they love to learn.
For today, Jacob Rascone, NBC News, Dallas.
Way to go, Carson.
That is impressive. What is she feeding them? Tell me the secrets.
She says there's no magic pill, but
That is true.
I mean,
She's doing something.
yeah.
All right.
Shout out to the sister code. She
Bro.
had to throw that in there. She doing something. She doing
Magic.
something. She doing something.
We all know what it is.
Hold on, real, one sec, Freebase. One sec, bro. Let me just say this to my brother Gary Grant, because I play chess, not checkers. Okay. Now you wanted to highlight the dual parents in the other two videos. This single mother got two of them back to back. We back to back. What do you think about that, Mr. Gary Grant?
Ask me.
I thought so. Nah, he walked away for a minute. But let me just say, wow. Now, I'm being facetious because I cannot guarantee she's a single mother, but this is the first video where we did not highlight the dad, so it's a possibility. So we just gonna give her the credit. Even though, like, it's genetics, it could be their dads. We don't know, but it is what it is. It is what it is. She got two of them, and she said, "I've been blessed." You know what blessed mean? Lucky. I ain't had nothing to do with this. It ain't on me. It's in them. It ain't on me. So, like I said, genetics wins. Genetics wins. I am undefeated.
Listen, okay,
Aaron,
so we got to give the woman credit. Here's the thing. She prioritized these kids, but I'll give the dad that she didn't want to mention purposely credit for giving her the seed. And you can't take that away from him, even if she didn't want to mention it. But what I'll give her credit for is she set the environment up because she was trying to homeschool. I can't imagine how much time she put into homeschooling the kid until she couldn't anymore. But let me just say this before you
still be a genius.
No, wait a minute. When she recognized that he was beyond her, the one thing I want to give her credit for is that she prioritized her kid as opposed to trying to get some Johnson from some outside guy. I give her that credit because she spent a lot of time for them.
Man, are we going to talk about genetics or like black women being potentially promiscuous? Like,
no. Well, she had a life. She's a young woman.
Yeah,
so she had to prioritize.
But scientifically speaking, like your level of intelligence is about 80% derived from your genetics.
Right.
It's about 80-20 genes versus environment.
Well, so you say.
No, so this is actually many people are not privy to the science on this because it's taboo to speak about it publicly, because the next step from this discussion is racial IQ differences, and that's why people don't speak about these things publicly. But there's over 100 years of scientific research on human intelligence. In fact, no one does human intelligence research better than the U.S. Army. The U.S. military does great research on human intelligence. So it's the variance in intelligence. It's about 80% your parents, 20% your environment.
And what do they use to touch? What do they use to test that?
Well, they use the G factor. The G factor is the level of intel, or the proxy for the G factor is your IQ score, right? And there are so you standardize these scores, and they follow a normal distribution, right? So like the average IQs for people of European descent right now is 100. For black people from America, it's about 85. So it's like one standard deviation below. So the pecking order goes, the pecking order goes Ashkenazi Jews, then it goes Orientals, which are like Far Eastern Asians. Then it goes.
How is this? Yo, you talking about Fight Club? This sounds stupid, dog. You saying we stupid? We dumber than everybody else?
No,
what are you doing up here, dog?
Well, the fact that you're interrupting me doesn't bode well for your intelligence. Right?
Hey, free base. Can I ask you a question on that point?
Y'all hear this, man?
Yes, sir.
Wait, Pookie. Hey, free base. Let me ask you a question. Isn't 20% statistically significant number? It's 20% environment. Let's just say your premise that everything, your intelligence is 80 and your environment is 20%. 20% is statistically significant in any study. So I would submit to you that if the environment of 20% is ratchet, you won't be able to fulfill all that 80% potential you have.
Yeah, but the problem.
We'll answer that part.
Yes,
Yo,
but
okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Payne. The
Yes,
problem there is that your comment, and respectfully, your question basically informs me that you're not well read on psychometrics. And
no, it doesn't. Tell me why though. Don't just make a statement.
Because there are tons of studies that have controlled for environment. There's been studies where you've had identical twins raised in different environment, and we see the same result. We have studies where we've taken African American children and raised them in middle class white families. We see that when they are younger, their IQs tend to mirror that of their white counterparts, given the same environment. But once they hit their adulthood, their IQ regresses to the African American mean, which is about 85, which is one standard deviation.
Well, why is that?
Because it's genetics.
Can I?
So now you go. You made it just a certain.
This is what you wanted to talk about, Aaron. Us being dumb.
One at a time. I'm not playing.
Well, first of all, I mean, he made a statement against what I said because I didn't refute anything what you said. Because my thing was that 20% is statistically significant in your environment. So you gave me an age range of where you talked about twins being grown up and you can see some similarities. And then you say as soon as they become adults, that some of that dissipates and disappears. And so why is that?
So,
Aaron, first of all, let me also tell you, I did work for the Department of the Army, and I worked closely to people in the behavioral labs. So I hear what you're saying because I don't disagree with you. So, but I mean, let's just say, I just say that the environment, because if I was to talk to Aaron when he's saying that the genetics mean everything, I don't disagree, but we can't discount the environment.
So Aaron, perhaps you've been shown the videos you could present, but I will recommend everyone search a paper. It's called 30 Years of Research in Race and Cognitive Differences. The authors are Professor Arthur Jensen, I believe, and there's a professor, or he's now dead, but he was a professor at Western Ontario up in Canada. And this is a meta-analysis where they look at all of the research on human intelligence. Literally, if you spend one afternoon reading that paper, all of your questions will be answered.
Can someone else get into the conversation now? This is beyond it being offensive. There's a big glaring problem here. Let's start with the basics. What genetic markers, what genetic segments of the DNA have correlated to these alleged intellectual root causes? Okay, I've asked this question for like 20 years. I've brought this up. Now, before you pretend to answer this, Mr. Freebase, I'm letting you know, to this day, no one knows. There's 3 genetic markers.
But I know.
No, you don't. Let me finish. You guys have monologued for quite a while, and it's not about it being offensive because someone is woke. It's about it being offensive because the main thing about scientific investigation is that you have to use what's called a scientific method. And when you refuse to use a scientific method and you draw conclusions, and I said this to white supremacists, and I'll say it to you, when you draw conclusions about far-reaching things like the destiny of billions of people, and you draw these conclusions and you don't have the raw root cause, you have not sufficiently correlated for the environment. Because here, Mr. Payne, I'm sure you can vouch for this. If you don't feed a child properly between ages 0 and 3 years old, that's going to affect their IQ. If you don't properly educate a child at a young, why are you smiling? This is not a smile scenario for you. No, this is not. See, that's how I know. That's how I know that there's an agenda. So you keep bouncing on that chair, okay? Because I've looked into this. You need to go and take your butt to the School of Public Policy at the University of Michigan while you're bounce yourself on over there. Okay? So you don't know what you're talking about. You have been citing stuff that goes back to the mid to late 90s. And you mentioned Dr. Payne, someone that I'm familiar with. And you're still left with that bell curve missing part, which is which genetic markers, right? Which base pairs, if you need to, correlate to what parts of it, because there's several different layers of intelligence that is used to measure the totality of a human's intellectual capacity. And you cannot correlate that to race. I'm almost done.
That's what I was saying.
I'm almost done. Okay. I'm a black man. Both of my parents are African American. Okay. And I don't seem to understand if you're going to try to say that my success is due to the European aspect of my genetic makeup or not. I don't know if Mr. Payne's success is due to the fact that you're trying to imply that one whatever of his genetic heritage is European and that accounts for his intelligence. Or if the person that developed digital wireless technology, who was a black man, if maybe one of his European ancestors caused him to be that intelligent. Okay? And we can go down a list. Mark Dean, the guy that invented half the stuff that's used on
David, you
I'm
had
sorry.
a lot. There's a lot delay there to have a guy try to remember everything you
Oh,
said.
he can remember this.
No worries.
He's down to his chair.
Can I go? Can I go?
Go. Let's shoot.
So, Mr.
David Villar. Yes.
David Villar.
Yes.
So your specific question was which genetic markers, right? Would you happen to be familiar with Professor?
Answer with a question.
Excuse me. Would you happen to be familiar with Professor Bruce Lane from the University of Chicago?
I've heard it. Cite him. Show me the markers.
Okay, so there are several reasons, right? So Professor Lane actually was doing his research. I'm going to post the Wall Street Journal article here, and then you can also find it at the University of Chicago Press. Now, this guy is a biologist and a human geneticist, rather. He was studying human intelligence. He discovered a DNA code that's linked to intelligence. This was, excuse me, the University of Chicago even filed a patent based on his research of DNA-based intelligence tests. But because of the public backlash, because we all know where this goes. We all know where it goes once we start talking about genetic differences in people, right? They was forced to withdraw their patent application, and Professor Lane was forced to end his research. I've posted the link in the chat. It's from the Wall Street Journal. You can also get it from the University of Chicago themselves.
All right,
so excuse me. And like you can read his paper from the University of Chicago, right? There's been
Freebase.
We've actually discovered that. Yes, go ahead. Man, I don't need like 20 minutes to debunk people who
you are like
well aware of this stuff.
Guys, do not derail my show for this.
All right, I just want to ask you a quick question. So, what's your background and how much of this? I see your row read on this. You read a lot of papers. How much of this information do you actually understand?
I have a master's degree in economics.
Okay.
So
that means you don't understand none of the stuff you're talking about.
Not only do I understand how to read and comprehend, I'm formally trained in statistical analysis, machine learning, all of that stuff. Like that's what I do.
So therefore you know statistics can be manipulated, right?
We don't even have to go there.
Let's do history. Let's do history. The most intelligent person has not always been the most successful.
He knows he's lying.
The most intelligent people have not always been the most successful.
It's not about
historical fact.
That's not even an issue. Listen, you're saying that you're citing papers, but you're not citing a peer-reviewed paper. I used to get into it with these flat earthers for this very reason, because you guys have an agenda, and it's about how you package the rhetoric. You said Wall Street Journal, and you know that something like this goes back to what I said. I said that for something that has this far-reaching consequence, you would need to have a tried and true scientific method. And you cite the Wall Street Journal, a paper that's owned by a right-wing white supremacist type of a guy, right? And you didn't cite a peer-reviewed source, like the University of Chicago, article R-18764 on genetic race and intelligent correlation from 2012 or something like that. But what you're doing instead is smiling. And to everyone else in here, his smiles are proportional to the amount of bullshit that he hopes to rhetorically pass off. So you see the smiles. It's like watching a kid play around and see how much teasing around he can do. Like the kids that like when you were a kid, they would poke you, but then they didn't quite touch you. And then they say, I didn't touch you. I didn't touch you. And but I've already gone through this. That's why I would go through these flat earthers, because it's this, and it's also the ancient Egyptian stuff. It's also the fact that people like you don't even correlate nutrition to it. You don't correlate nutrition. Like, why would black people growing up in the segregated areas of the United States succeed despite the segregation, to the point to where, in order for us to fail, white people had to act like thugs and hoodlums back in the 1930s. You know how black people are like, oh, you stepped on my shoe, let's riot and let's have a fight. That's what the white people did in the 1930s to destroy Tulsa, Oklahoma, and other cities, because there was an emerging black middle class. How can they be that lower in intelligence that you have a standard deviation,
like you dropped me,
but they succeed in that kind of situation?
Yes. Hey, 30 seconds, right? Once again, Mr. David has he's shown a complete disregard for the truth. And here's why. Because when you click the link, and the reason why my face was close to the computer is because what I was doing was trying to find Professor Lane's actual paper. When you click the Wall Street Journal link that I provided, they are speaking about his paper, right? So this article is behind the paywall, right? So if you're not subscribed to the journal,
there we go.
You probably won't get it, right? But the first sentence in that article states that last year, Professor Bruce Lane stood in front of a packed crowd and presented his paper. Not only is it peer reviewed and was published in an academic journal, the paper was so substantial. Like I said, the University of Chicago filed a patent based on his research.
What's the patent number?
They were forced to
citation.
Oh my God! What are we doing here, Aaron?
I know.
David, hold on for a second. Freebase, you said a lot of stuff. What are you saying here that refutes anything that's been said here, though? I'm trying to figure out. The host is talking about genetics, so it seems like he agrees with you. So what are you saying that's different than anybody else? I'm just saying.
There are people here that disagree. There are people here who disagree.
You're just citing
patent number. What is he doing?
Oh,
what is he doing?
Millions of black people hang in the balance, and I just want a patent number.
CBG in full effect. Tell that little nigga we just dropped the bread. The sniper you waiting outside for that air. My game sit up, and I know they gon' blast.
Hey, shout out to Grizzly, man. Yeah,
man, all I think that man was saying was it's a holistic view on y'all. All y'all doing is saying intelligence is the key to success. When I'm saying it takes a whole lot of other things to be successful too. Not everybody relies on intelligence.
Yeah, so red pill.
I'm saying a Freebase read a whole bunch of papers and he don't understand what he read.
Yeah, sure. Red pill Pookie.
I know what you're mean.
You're actually correct, right? You're actually correct that just because you have superior intelligence doesn't automatically means you're going to be successful. You actually have to apply that intelligence. There's something called conscientiousness. But what we look at when we look at your natural intelligence is that consider your brain like a computer. And we all have different computers. Some people have a MacBook Air, some people have a MacBook Pro, some people have a Dell, some have a PC. All of these computers have different RAMs, right? Different capabilities, different speeds, right? That's what intelligence is that someone who is naturally more intelligent, like the videos of those 10, 12-year-old boys, not only can they consume information faster, they can apply that information faster than the average person. So something that it'll take people like us 10 hours to learn, they can learn in 2 hours.
And we know that. That's intelligence. That's problem solving. Intelligence is only a measure of problem solving.
Yeah, sure. And so you could be the smartest man in the world, but if you just sit on the couch playing video games all day, of course, you're not going to be successful. But the problem people also face is that intelligent people also tend to be more conscientious. They also tend to be more disciplined. They also tend to be more hardworking.
No, they don't. Guys, relax. I have to read the super chats. I get in trouble every time I get too far behind. JB says, Aaron, the video I just sent you is one of the best examples of Black excellence I've seen in recent years. Those Black girls are legend. I will try to play that video at some point during the show. But it's difficult dealing with all these hooligans. Laguerre says, shout out to them Texas boys, Texas Christian University, okay? Grizz said, this is like watching Kanye say Adidas was going to make him a billionaire. When he first signed, everyone is mad and none believe Kanye until he's right.
That's facts.
And then Grizz said, I want my top sponsorship spot back. And he said, I'm going to knock somebody out the way on my way to the top sponsor cup. He said, this was a mean win from Kanye. Yeah, I called him Kanye first, so I coined him that because I was first.
Yeah,
you got a GBG gang, David, up out of here. Freebase need to pop up more often. He stay gang. I guess Freebase got some support. JB said, Freebase, don't waste your time, brother. Your data is too dangerous for their feelings. Whoa. AL, since Freebase supposedly doesn't understand what he read, can you enlighten us on what the literature says? I think AL says David don't know what he read, but I could be wrong.
No, he said I didn't comprehend all the papers that I cited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Aaron, can I say one thing here? I mean, because this is a perfect scenario for the Goodwill Hunting movie, right? This is the kind of guy like what's my man,
bro? They just shot me, bro. They just
shot.
Yeah. It's just,
dang.
That's too bad. Dang. Because so we had a genius. So Aaron, I know you're
that
familiar.
Did not
with
sound sincere.
I know you're familiar with Goodwill Hunting, right? So you had Matt Damon, who was a genius, but his environment around him kept him down, right? So and the genius shone through, but he wouldn't use those gifts until he was shocked out of it from one of his buddies. So this is the kind of thing where environment and intelligence and genius kind of had a arm wrestle, right? So too bad Freebase is gone because he's, hey, Freebase, you saw Goodwill Hunting, right?
Yes.
So this is a scenario that we're talking about where genius and environment matched, where one guy is abused, but he was a genius, smarter than his professors and all that kind of stuff. But we saw, and this is whether the movie was great or not, we saw his environment impact his gifts.
No, that's the complete opposite, right? Because in Goodwill Hunting, Matt Damon character grows up in poverty in Boston, but he's still smarter than wealthy kids at home.
No, you missed my point. I didn't say he wasn't. I didn't say he wasn't.
Bro.
Bag on your head.
I just want to know. See, I wish I hate that he got knocked off because I want to know why is he so apt to believe what that paper says? It's the end all be all.
Can y'all break it down in fifth grade language?
So here's my point. It wasn't that his poverty stopped him from being a genius, but it deferred his ascent to where he's supposed to be.
Damn.
Let me break this down for you. Let me break this down for you, dog. My college dropout ass has negotiated contracts with Fortune $500 companies. With Fortune $500 companies, y'all listen
Fortune
to me.
$500 is crazy.
I mean, y'all, okay, my bad. I'm stupid. Now I'm stupid. Fortune 500. You know what I'm talking about, dog. Fortune 500 companies. Y'all will look at me and be like, "Oh, Pookie's lying." But I'm not. These niggas ain't as smart as y'all think that they are because they scored the highest on the SAT. And you want to know what they would do when I would walk up in the room? Because a lot of it was how do you say language challenge. I'm dealing with people in China. I'm dealing with people in Europe. I'm dealing with people in the Caribbean and South America. When they get in the room with me, they look at me like I'm crazy. Like, motherfucker, you just got $250,000 out of me. How you look? Yes, nigga.
All right. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Because JB said, nah, Aaron, don't save AL. Let him substantiate his arguments. He keeps telling the brother he doesn't understand what he read. Enlighten us. So we'll give the floor to AL so he can speak. Because I don't know.
Cool. So you said they proven the genetic markers. Then tell me exactly what those genetic markers are and what do they mean?
So based on Professor Lane's paper, right, there were certain genetic markers found as far as
no. I didn't say based off. I said tell me exactly what they are. Because you're telling me you say based off his paper. No, tell me what they are. Name them.
Yeah. So to provide you with the exact markers, I'll have to reference the paper again. But but that does, excuse me, right? That doesn't impede my understanding of it because I can't remember the exact name of the markers. So let me explain to you what he discovered, right? There are certain genetic markers in human beings that are linked to intelligence. These genetic markers appeared more frequently in East Asians and Europeans and less frequently in Africans.
So based off of what you said, all those genetic markers, what do you define those genetic markers to mean? Right? So I'm not asking you to tell me the name, what do they mean? And then when you break down what they mean, then I want you to tell me how that is linked to a definition of what we consider intelligence is, right? So let's start off with the definition of intelligence. What does that mean? What does that mean in his paper?
Okay, so in the scientific sense, right, the consensus have settled on the definition of intelligence is your ability to reason and your ability to make logical decisions.
Problem solving, nigga. I said that to you. It's problem solving. That is intelligence.
Like, bro, can I just say something? Can I just say something? Right? Like, it seems like I mean, I'm not going to say the entire panel, right? But there are certain people here that are not offering anything to move the conversation forward.
What is reasoning, dog?
Excuse me. I'm still speaking, sir. But instead, you've devoted all of your energy to try to get me in a got you moment. Like, provide me, like, here it goes, right? Like, I'm gonna bet you $100, anyone on the panel right now, provide me a meta-analysis, not a single paper, a meta-analysis on human intelligence that disproves anything I said.
I got one.
I'm trying to have you
hold on. AL, I got it. No, I really don't got it, but I just needed this little space right quick. Look, my birthday is look. Nah, hold on, bro. Hold on. You let me in. Look, you let me in. You let me in. Let me look. Let me get this out. And then I'm gonna go ahead. You hear me? I'm gonna lead a panel. Y'all can get back to y'all intellectual nigga shit. I only got one thing to say, dog. Today is July 11th, 2023. On this day, a real nigga was born. Shout out Thanos theory, dog.
Happy
His birthday is today, dog. The real OG to me, the nigga that gave me so much knowledge about what I could do better and be better in my motherfucking life. One of the very few people that has given me knowledge in this space to better improve my life on the real shit, on the back end. I know I come up on these panels with that dumb shit all the time, but that man right there reached out to me one day and he has changed my life on the real shit, on the back end, in the real life. And I just want to wish that dude a happy birthday, bro. I really appreciate you for everything that you do for me. And it's going to be a turn up in New Orleans this weekend with you, hear me, for the birthday week. I love you, dog.
Shout
Happy
out to
birthday.
Thanos, man. Happy birthday to my bro Thanos. Real dude. I rock with him, man. Real dude. God, listen, if you're not familiar with him, get familiar with him. That's somebody you want to be in the same space with. So shout out, happy birthday to Thanos theory. Yeah, listen, my whole argument is let me be frank and clear. I know a lot of people come to my shows. I do not claim to be intelligent. I do not claim to be smart and all that other stuff. I am a thinker. I like to think. I like to challenge. So I don't want to disappoint anybody to be like, Aaron, you let us down. You're not as smart as we thought you were. I'm never claiming to be. I present thoughts, concepts, shows to make people think, and that's what I do. I don't claim to be at any other level than that. So do not be disappointed when you see these other geniuses that I'd be lucky to get up or be around come up here and show you just how intelligent they are. Okay, so don't hold that against me. I can't debunk nothing that Freebase said because my argument is genetics. I'm almost arguing you could throw the parent in the garbage can to a certain degree because that's just how much I stand on that. And it pisses people off, but I really, really believe it to a certain degree. Obviously, a child needs to eat food, whatever. But that's just how I think. But other people feel otherwise. AO's a father. I've spoken to his son. He is a really, really intelligent kid. So there are other nuances there and whatnot. But I cannot disagree or agree with what these two people are arguing about because I ain't go to college. So I will definitely allow you guys to speak, but please get to the points quicker because otherwise too much information is there for us to digest. And most simple folks like myself have no idea what you're talking about.
So the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is, number one, to use IQ as a standard for intelligence is a faulty argument to begin with, right? Because those tests, number one, number one can be biased, right? Number two, they could be and they could also be subjective to whatever the test maker wants it to be, right? So so therefore you are telling me that the test maker is the determination of what ultimate intelligence means, and that's inherently false and inherently faulty in the beginning, right? So to be able to link genetic markers to that test, because that's what you're saying, right? Unless I'm heard you wrong, is in effect a crazy argument to begin with. And so you cannot. So his whole research, based off what you're saying, because I haven't read his papers yet. Cool, I can admit that. But I know how to find out bullshit arguments because that's what my job is to do, to find out bullshit arguments from people who are more intelligent than me. That's what I do on a daily basis, right? So based off that, the foundation of your argument is false. It's
okay. So cool nerd, like that's why the paper is right here. I'm not gonna take 3 minutes to disprove that. Like these are all things we've heard. The test is biased, right? So read this. Serious question.
That's subjective and it can be biased.
Excuse me. Serious questions have been raised about the validity of using tests for racial comparisons. However, because the tests show similar patterns for internal items, consistency, and predictive validity for all groups. Keyword, predictive validity. That means the IQ, right, scores is just as effective in predicting the outcome for white people as it is as predicting outcomes for black people, Asian people, Mexicans, etc. Just had to dive in there because apparently people think I don't comprehend what I read. Excuse me, I'm still reading. Predictive validity for all groups, and because the same differences are found on relatively culture-free tests, many psychometricians have concluded that the tests are valid measures of racial differences at least among people sharing the culture of the authors of the test. Jensen, 1980. Now, Wigder and Garner in 1982. The conclusion was endorsed by the APA task force. The APA is the American Psychological Association, because this is about psychology.
It's about biology. You
No,
said genetic markers.
excuse me. This field of study is called psychometrics. Psychometrics.
You said
Hello?
genetic markers. You said
Hello?
genetic markers.
Okay. Just be quiet because you're getting spanked right now. Relax.
I'm not getting spanked.
Okay.
You're making yourself look like
He not getting spanked.
Okay.
If you read an academic paper and you don't,
excuse
hold
me.
on.
Like, bro, can you guys just let me speak? Like, this guy spoke for like 30 minutes.
No, we have to assume you understand all of the terms in the academic paper that you are reading, dog.
Excuse me. This conclusion was endorsed by the American.
Y'all not the only niggas who read academic papers. Do you understand all of the? You ever read? Have
like,
any of?
You have to
Hold
allow
on.
me to speak.
Have
This
any of us ever
conclusion-
read? So I'm about to break you down because I know more than this about you.
Bro,
you want to know why? Because my wife
have
is
to
in
let
this
me
field.
finish
You
speaking.
read these
I
medical
promise I will
papers,
let
dog.
you
You don't
speak.
understand none of the words they talking about. You do. You intelligent, right? You that
have to let me
intelligent?
speak, Pookie. You have to let me speak, please, sir. Okay, this conclusion was endorsed by the APA task force statement, quote, considered as predictors of future performance. The tests do not seem to be biased against African Americans. Thank you. Like, there's no evidence that the test is biased, because like what we use IQ scores for is to predict. The test is just as effective in predicting the future of Black people as they are in predicting the future of white people. Now, to the environment question, Mr.
Okay, you got your point across, bro. Let somebody else say something. Let me ask you this. Let me
watch
just
me
say-
be
wait,
mute.
wait a minute. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but the point is that there's still no guarantee of outcomes, no matter how intelligent you are. So let's take race out of it. Listen, I'm just saying, and my biggest disagreement here is that there's no guarantee of outcome, no matter how intelligent you are, because there's environmental factors that can keep you from performing to your best ability. And we got a whole bunch of geniuses. I don't know about a bunch, but we got enough geniuses in the graveyard and on Jefferson Street in Philly and every other place, because they didn't go down the path that could exercise all that brain power. And so when I was saying about the young lady, and maybe I shouldn't have mentioned her fooling around, she put enough of her energy to make sure her sons got to as far as she could take them, and then she put them on to somebody else who could come in to exercise their genius. That's what she did. She kept the environment so they could continue to thrive. So with the other families. So we can't belittle those kind of things, make a difference for us to realize the genius in our children. If they
I totally agree with you, RP.
You guys
I just
know
want to say,
something?
I just want to say one more thing. Wait, hold on.
I mean, are you denying that? Free pay? Are you denying that?
Gentlemen,
I agree
would
with
it
you.
be
I'm
okay
just
if I
saying one
step
more
in
thing.
real quick?
Guys, you guys been going back and forth for a moment. I want to get other people in the conversation. So just allow people to speak as well. Go ahead, Chocolate. I know you want to say something.
Good evening and good morning, gentlemen. I wanted just to speak to the video about the little boy, the first one. And I wanted to point out what he said was that he said, I'm not that, what my difference is that I can learn and process information faster. Like how we build computers. You buy a regular computer, you're not going to game as hard on it as if you built it yourself with some off the hook shit. So it's like how computers are and how we learn and how we digest and how we can repeat and spit out. Because in all honesty, our school system is set up so what you do is learn to repeat. You learn to recite. You learn to fill your head with nonsense. And by the time you get to where you need to be, you're like, I ain't used 80% of this shit. But anyway, back to the intelligent part. So when we talk about IQ, and they were speaking to the fact, he said, I can take it in faster, and that me being faster and processing that information faster gets me where I need to be before anybody else. And I thought that was really poignant for such a young man to understand that that is self-awareness. That is hard for a lot of adults to get. That's the information. So I just wanted to add. Thanks.
So, Mr. Payne, so the problem.
One sec, Freebase.
Oh,
I'll let you guys go back, but Prolific would have been quiet for about an hour now, so I want to give him an opportunity to speak. Go ahead, Prolific.
So my whole viewpoint when it comes to when we say geniuses and intelligence and stuff like that, right? I personally believe that, are you guys referring as genius and intelligent from an educational standpoint? Because when I look at it, I look at people, and I'm not referring to the kids because they're young. The three young men that Aaron showed us. I'm not referring to them. I'm referring to the people when you guys talk about genius and intelligence, I look at it as in like real life impact, like Elon Musk type shit. You know what I'm saying? That's where I view it as. But yeah, I can go from there. That's all I say.
Mr. Payne, to your point about the environment, right? What you don't want to do is make the environment equal.
I didn't say that.
No, like that's what I'm saying. Because when you make the environment equal, the biological differences become more pronounced. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
No.
but I'm not talking about making the environment equal.
No.
I'm saying, but I'm not talking about that. Even if that premise was true, that's not where I'm coming from. So the point that you're trying to make is not where I'm coming from. Because here's what you can't deny. What you can't deny is that environment has a tremendous impact on the abilities for people to realize their genius. Wait a minute, that doesn't mean they're not geniuses. It just means they may not have the ability to capitalize on those gifts. There's a lot of people who don't capitalize on the gifts that they
Aaron, I don't want to do no Fight Club shit, but we have to understand what this man is really saying. He is saying we are biologically dumber than all other races. Listen to what he is saying.
I know what he's trying to say, but I'm not playing that game.
And
yeah, I'm not playing that game.
We don't have no hope. We have no hope. If you go for what Freebase is saying.
So can we?
So first of all, here's what Freebase is saying, right? Freebase is here. He can speak for himself. The first thing I'm saying is that you have to judge people as individuals. You will be an idiot, a complete buffoon, to just look at a black person and say,
what you say.
Excuse me, may I speak?
You said the Ashkenazi Jews, whatever, are ranked higher than us.
Dude, like
if you make it equal, it becomes more pronounced.
Himself?
No, it makes it more pronounced. Don't do this.
So
why is it individual now? Why is it individual now?
Right. Yep.
So Pookie, for the sake of the conversation,
niggas be too smart. They dumb.
For the sake of the conversation, can you please control your urge to come off the mic until I'm done speaking? Thank you, sir. Okay, here's what I'm saying. You will be a complete idiot to just look at a person and say, this person is black, so they must be stupid. Or this person is white, so they must be smart. You have to judge people as individuals because human intelligence follows a normal distribution. Most people, the overwhelming majority of human beings hovers within one standard deviation of the mean, right? Most people have about average IQs. Where we talk about the differences is when we look at the tail ends, right? We see that a white person is about 4 times more likely than a black person to have a level of intelligence that's far above average. And we see that a black person is about 5 times more likely than a white person to have a level of intelligence that's technically considered mental retardation. That's where we're essentially saying white people people of European descent are more likely to have a higher IQ than people of African descent. It doesn't mean that all Africans have lower IQs than all Europeans. That's not what it means. Absolutely not. That's why you have to judge people as individuals, not as groups.
So
That's what I'm saying.
Wait, can I get?
That's a hard
Hold up, I'm interrupted. I'm trying to make my point. Listen, that's the reason why I say you don't understand what you're saying with the study, because you're using the statistical data based off of tests that are made by humans, but you're trying to link it to biology. And biology is objective information that cannot be changed and cannot have any bias. So, for example, when R. Payne said environment, right? That's one bias that you could take into account when you make a test, any test. A human makes a test, right? You make a test that may be biased towards certain somebody who grew up in a certain environment, or grew up in a certain region, or grew up in certain types of schools, right? Which should be independent of intelligence. But
So,
however, wait.
Sorry.
But you linked it. But now, if you want to say that somebody can pass a test versus somebody else can pass a test, okay, cool, you got a point. But if you said, but then you went ahead and took the next step, and you said you're linked in to genetic markers, which means you would have to take the information from those tests, right, and then link that to a gene sequence in your DNA,
right?
Which is virtually impossible to do. That's what I'm saying. You don't know what you're talking about.
Can I? I think we all see that with him, cool nerd.
Yeah. Can I step in? So,
David, I'll let you step in just 1 second. I need to catch up on the super chats, and you're going right after that, and then we'll let Freebase respond if he wants to. AL, I have to mute you in between because you know how your background is, and if you don't have your headphones in, bro. Deborah says Freebase is 100,000 quadrillion percentage points correct. I made that up because I'm not that smart. There is scientific data proving that there is a direct correlation between your IQ and how successful you'll be in life. Well, god dang, I already know I'm a failure. GBG Grizzly says boomers gaslight every time they take the L. Shaking my head. BOB says IQ 40 through 60% genetic. I have no idea what that means, but BOB is on his best behavior tonight. Aaron, I suggest you read the definition of intelligence. Nope. I'm going to be smart enough to bow out of this conversation. It's over my head. Freebase, solving puzzles is racist, brother. You better acknowledge it. I ain't never been able to complete a puzzle, but that dinosaur puzzle I got when I was like 4. BOB says genetic part of the IQ is how big the gun is. Environmental part is how well you can use the gun. Oh, okay. I see what you're trying to say. I still don't understand because I ain't smart enough. And GBGville says, yo, Thanos, mad love OG. Happy birthday, man. Thanos getting a lot of love over here, man. I'm jealous. You know what? Me and him going to have to box after the show, man. Happy birthday, boxing, Thanos theory. We're going to see you after the show. Yeah, David, go ahead, brother. It's on you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Earlier, you were saying, Freebase, that we would be an idiot to think of people beyond the individual, right? But you got to understand, we're idiots to think that society doesn't already do so. And that abuse has affected our performance as Black people in the society. So you're not only dealing with environment as far as nutrition and all that, you're dealing with how our society has misrepresented us. So for instance, regardless of where you put these intelligence tests, regardless of what the numbers are, a Black person who certainly performs better than a white person is less likely to get a job, the same job. That's been statistically proven time and time again, that more qualified Black applicants will get passed up than their white counterparts. And so that skews the sociological results. The other mistake that you're making is that you're speaking about how these papers that you're citing, and I must not have seen a citation in the chat, so we can blame me for that. But before you interrupt, they're supposed to be predictive, but it sounds like they're being used to explain past deviations up to the present. Okay? Which leads to my next point, which is that you've got a mean of 100, which is supposed to be the average. And the average is designed to correlate to white intelligence by people who created and developed these tests who coincidentally happen to be white. And when you look at those IQ tests and the scores and how they're, used to correlate in different countries, and you look at what is the borderline for retardation, there are certain countries in Africa where these tests are supposedly correlating to the average Rwandan or the average Sierra Leonean being retarded, as if every other person or this strong segment of people in certain parts of Africa are retarded. So there's certainly a lack of proper development of these tests. So my last point is that we have not developed a substantial understanding of how to correlate intelligence to genetics, not by a long shot. And it is presumptuous to make such a conclusion.
Okay, so David, I have a question for you, but I have several things to say. Do you agree that height, how tall an individual is genetics?
Partially.
Can you point me to the specific genome that's related to human height?
Not right now.
Okay, so we pretty much had the same response when you said point me to the specific genome that's associated with human intelligence, right?
No, but we know it exists. We know that there's a genetic marker for height that exists. We know
I'll
that.
answer more clearly.
No, matter of fact, it's like people pretend like research in genetics it's like this. No, like we've now just started to make big leaps because the computing power has increased so much. Now, second question, what do you think is the best predictor of how well someone performs on the SATs?
So I did not agree with your first
Dude,
point.
like you had
to
your
the next
hands.
one.
Can you respond to my question? Like, okay, do you guys know what is the best predictor for how well someone will perform on the SATs?
They take the test.
No, their parents' income, because wealthy kids tend to go to better schools, and wealthy kids tend to be able to hire tutors and take test prep course, Kaplan's, etc. Right? Now, what if I told you that white children from households earning $25,000 a year or less score more than black kids from household earning over $100,000 a year?
We're still
No, you might be right. He's right. But I will ask you, why can the common man?
So you agree that I'm right, that let's just say white kids who come from households earning $25,000 a year or less come from worse environment, have worse nutrition than black kids from households earning over $100,000 a year. But for some reason,
population.
For some reason, those poor white kids tend to perform better on intelligence tests than wealthy black kids. And the second question about white people design a test so they're better, like how come white people design a test that Asians beat them in?
Would you like my answer?
But that's
or
a
you wanna
small
just
number.
Correlate that to genetics.
Well, I mean, you can create things that a person can't
Hold on,
attain.
smart guy. What is the graduation rate for blacks who enter Harvard?
I don't know that off the top of my head.
95%. Nobody has above 97%. White, black, Asian, Hispanic. Nobody has above 97%.
What does that have to do with the point I made?
It has to tell you when we are on an equal playing field, we can perform just as well as everybody else.
Actually, Mr. Pookie, when you're on the equal field, like I said before, within economics, there's a Latin term, it's called ceteris paribus, right? Essentially means all things are considered equal, right? When you're on an equal field, the biological differences become more pronounced. Biological differences become more pronounced when everything else is equal. For example, let's say height. We've all agreed that height is genetics, right?
Intelligence has nothing to do with biological, dog. We not doing this. This that Hitler shit right here.
Right.
This that Hitler shit.
Hey man, it's past midnight, Aaron. Thank you for having me.
You sound like a Nazi, dog.
And like I'm gonna be back whenever
you said
conversation.
Free base. You can't free base.
Understand? Everybody can't be talking at the same time. He's trying to leave. He got to go, y'all.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. And shout out to the people who kicked me. Shout out to the people who brought me back. Shout out to the chat. You know, I love y'all all. And my skin is black just like yours. So this is not something I enjoy knowing. It's just the truth.
Nigga, height don't have nothing to do with intelligence, dog. You're dumb. You're dumb.
You won't be able to respond to this. Oh, he's gone. Yeah.
My fingernails grow longer than the average person. Nigga, what does that mean?
Wait, I was just trying to say something.
So he spoke about height, and he ignored the fact that Koreans, same genetic group, have a substantial height difference. Substantially different height over 2 generations. I didn't get to say it because of that. And that's the kind of misrepresentation that if we don't take the time to think it through, it rolls right on over us. Okay? So why is it that black people, if all of what you're saying is true, why is it that black people go into a job interview that are more qualified, are less likely to get hired? And to his last point about, you know, the more equal things are, the more pronounced the differences show up. Well, then what are the substantial differences if Harvard graduates that are black at 95% graduation rate, they come out, they live their life, they succeed in life. This goes back to his earlier point. What is the substantial difference that I'm supposed to be looking for that this is supposed to mean? Like, I'm looking at the IQ test, but they're Harvard graduates, 95% graduation rate. They go on and have successful lives. And I'm supposed to say, yeah, I would go to these black people and say, yeah, but listen, there's still something like height. We don't know what it is, but in some way you're still less intelligent than the white people that you competed against to get there.
So all I'm saying is this. Well, let's say he believes all the information he believes. That's fine. But I think there's a difference between if you understand statistics, there's a difference between understanding using correlation
and causality.
Yeah, correlation does not mean causality, right? And so therefore, he's using correlation to prove his point versus causality, and he's also trying to use it to link it to a physical property, which is genetics.
It's spurious. It's called a spurious link.
You cannot use a test, any human test, no matter who it's created by, has a level of bias to it. No matter who whether it be racial, environmental, whether it be language, whatever. There's always a bias in human in something that a human creates.
Cool nerd.
But you can look at history. Like we've always been duped and outsmarted by every other race of people. So
you cannot link IQ tests to biology. You just can't.
You had a small group of Europeans come to the coast of Africa and completely take over us.
No, their guns did. Their weapons.
And they only stayed on the coast. They didn't go inland. They stayed on the coast. They allowed us to war with each other and enslave each other.
This is what I wanted to ask this man. I wanted to ask this man. Has anybody up here ever read a fucking medical academic paper, peer review? Do you know how hard that shit is to understand?
I read it every day.
You gotta fucking every paragraph. You gotta go to a dictionary and get there and try to understand what the fuck they saying. So he has to make me believe. He has to make me believe he understands what he's reading. Them shits is hard to read.
Did you see the link? I was looking for the citation in the chat. I didn't see it. I didn't see a patent number.
I'm starting to bleed this racial IQ thing, man.
And I'm trying to understand that's why I said about the whole flat earth thing. That's the same type of argument that these racist people make, where they make an argument that's
Jonathan, like, shut up, nigga. You dumb.
Listen, David, I'm assuming that I'm gonna say that I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. Let's say it's not racist, because I'm not even from a scientific standpoint, it doesn't make sense what he's saying.
We're saying the same thing, Kuna. I'm not even trying. I'm saying that when you have something that has far-reaching consequences, you better have your facts lined up. It was easy for him to cite a paper, to cite a patent number. He says that he had inside knowledge, like it was the patent was taken away, or somehow they took it out of circulation. Well, he had some insight, so he could have said, well, it was patent number 1762427, but in 1996 it was revoked. He couldn't cite a number, he couldn't cite a year, and he cited a paper that had information from 1982, information that I'm vaguely familiar with. But you'd have to look at stuff that came after 1996 and things and information. I put the links from the National Institute of Health in the chat, and how it tells us that you can't use spurious, and the spurious is, and not trying to insult anyone's intelligence here, but spurious is the idea is that you're taking one effect and you see that there's another effect, and you're assuming that one of those is causing the other, but they're both caused by a previous root cause. Those previous root causes haven't been clearly understood, but we're saying, well, these people are getting these scores over here, and they are of this ethnic group. And since we see a pattern, we're going to assume that the pattern has to do with the genetics that makes them that ethnic group. The genetic similarity of Africans, of people of African descent, must be, and there's the spurious part, must be due to their genetics, therefore must be caused, must be the cause of the lower intelligence test. Not all the other.
JB says, free base, that was a real mic drop. Job well done. You dog walked them into a contradiction, and they're still trying to be right.
That nigga is a coon. That nigga is a coon. He think he the smartest nigga in the room, and you not, JB. Come up here. You not the smartest dude in the room. I don't know why you have that faith in yourself like that.
Denial is the reality is a hell of a drug. Denial of reality is a hell of a drug.
It's the rhetoric. What I said earlier about the flat earthers, I used to get into it with them, and I used to get shitted on just like I got in here. I got kicked out the room and everything. But the facts that I gave, the information that I gave, has not
nobody can hear you, Angel.
Not even a little bit. I have not heard a single person cite a paper, cite a patent, cite a genetic marker. What he did was rhetoric, and it was art rhetoric. How to make it sound like
Angel's a real person?
I'm kind of sort of saying it. So can someone please?
What the fuck is Angel doing?
He's talking to
himself. Well, I don't have any quote, and excuse me, I don't have any anything to add as far as giving you direct. I can tell you where I got the information from, but I'd like to add to the conversation. Going back to what I said originally. So what do we do?
Why are you still talking?
Just go ahead, sis.
Okay. What can we do now that you see you have these two examples, two young men with all the things that we consider in a society a positive, successful. Then you have these other young men who we say as a single parent or that's harder to achieve, yet it was done as well. So now we know that it can be done many different ways. So what can we do, or how for me, it's like, what do we do so we can create an environment or make opportunity for more boys to be like this? There's probably way more than we can imagine because there's no opportunity to find them ourselves. And I'll leave it right there.
CBG in full effect. Tell that little nigga we just dropped the bread. The sniper you waiting outside for that air. My game to the, and I know they gon' blast.
The conclusion of the Aaron O Show. I thank you for tuning in. It is always my hope, my goal to push the conversation. This was a last-minute show that I put together, and so I'm sorry it's not longer. I know you guys want to get it out, and I'm sorry, but there's never a right time to say goodbye, but we got to say goodbye. I have things to do. I have not eaten. I will starve for you guys to try to give you the entertainment that you want, the conversations that you want, and do it differently than anybody else. That's what I aim to do. Unfortunately, I don't know why I attract all these smart people. It really makes no sense to me at all. It throws me off. I'm very, very grateful that a lot of these intelligent brothers and sisters decide to come and patronize my show. I don't know why, but I'm grateful because it's very refreshing to be able to be in a space where a lot of intelligent people are. knowing that I'll be candid with you, I genuinely don't believe I deserve to be around these people, man. Their level of intelligence is just on a whole nother level. But I love to listen. I love to learn. But the show must end. Shout out to Thanos Theory. Happy birthday. Shout out to Granville. Happy birthday to you. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure you leave a like. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. If not, whatever. I don't care. But at least leave a comment, your favorite part of the show, because it does help with the algorithm and it does keep me motivated to keep putting these shows out. I thank you for tuning in to the Aaron O Show.